Part 38. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chao-Ji Dupang. Chapter 375. Well done. Suddenly, when a group of skyborne demons rushed into the valley, a familiar voice appeared in Ji Hao's ears. Ji Hao turned his head suddenly and saw Chen Ronghuo coming behind him at some point. You are no longer needed here. Go to another direction and bring another group of people to me. Chen Ronghuo's feet were rooted in the ground, staring at the valley in the distance, and said calmly. Yes. Ji Hao, who originally wanted to see how Chen Ronghuo would take down 3 half-step 6th level practitioners and dozens of 5th level practitioners, gritted his teeth and quickly rushed in another direction according to what Chen Ronghuo said. This is the cursed valley. Anyone who enters my valley will have their body rot, their bones weathered, their strength lost, and their souls pulled into the abyss ravaged by the cold wind without any awareness. After Ji Hao left, Chen Ronghuo walked into the valley step by step. He held the bead of disaster in his hand, and every time he took a step forward, he would use the word spell to cast a curse. He did not just start casting the curse now. But when Ji Hao went to lead these skybone demons for him, he would cast his curse spell on the valley in front of him every once in a while. This valley has long been a valley filled with countless curse powers. Did you hear any sound? Suddenly, a half-step 6th level skybone demon who led the way into the valley changed his face slightly, and felt that there seemed to be some annoying sound in his ears. Something is wrong here. Another half-step 6th level skybone demon said with a serious face. He raised his arm, and saw that the skin on his arm had ulcerated silently. Suddenly, the 3 half-step 6th level skybone demons who entered the valley seemed to have thought of something, and turned their heads at the same time, looking at the more than 35th level late stage and 5th level peak skybone demons following them. Just seeing this, they immediately felt their scalps go numb. They saw that the skin of the 5th level skybone demons following behind them had already ulcerated for a long time. Even the white bone barbs growing from the joints of these skybone demons seemed to be baptized by endless time, silently turned into powder, and fell to the ground in large pieces. Roar! A half-step 6th level skybone demon, with a ferocious look, suddenly grinned and let out a violent whimpering sound like a hurricane blowing through the skull on the top of the mountain. Accompanied by this strange whimpering sound that went straight to the depths of the soul, the surrounding 5th level white bone demons woke up from the deep soul. Let's go, something is wrong here. After waking up all the skybone demons with a roar, the half-step 6th level skybone demon immediately shouted and was about to lead a group of people to rush out of the mountain. Just then, a lone footstep suddenly came from outside the valley, getting closer and closer. Everyone's eyes fixed. Huh! But before they could see who was coming, they suddenly saw a large black and red sea of fire, like a sea of fire at high tide, suddenly filling the road in front of the valley and rushing towards them. Disaster, entanglement, suffering. All kinds of vicious auras filled the large sea of fire. The sea of fire was obviously deeply involved with the curse that permeated the valley. A group of 5th level practitioners were drowned in the endless sea of fire before they could react. Ah! A series of miserable howls came from the sea of fire. Under the cover of the natural disaster flames, several of these Tiangu demons who had just been cursed and whose strength had been greatly reduced, instantly merged with the sea of fire and turned into black and red skulls, rushing towards Chen Ronghuo. In the blink of an eye, all the skybone demons who were at the same level as Chen Ronghuo, who were at the late 5th stage, were gone. Those skybone demons at the peak of the 5th stage only held on for a moment longer. Some skybone demons desperately followed the sound of footsteps and rushed forward. They wanted to see who set the trap. Some skybone demons ran back, trying to escape from the valley in other directions. But those skybone demons at the peak of the 5th stage who ran in other directions fell to the ground in just a breath, and their bodies also turned into black and red skulls covered with special patterns, rushing towards Chen Ronghuo. Those skyborn demons who wanted to see who set the trap also fell down after they vaguely saw a figure walking towards them in the flames. Only the three skyborn demons at the half-step sixth stage gave birth to a billowing pale aura from their bodies, blocking the erosion of the natural disaster flames. Not bad. After all the fifth-level skyborn demons died, Chen Ronghuo felt the breath of the law of calamity he received from the world because of their deaths, and a slight smile appeared on his face. The death of more than 30 fifth-level skyborn demons brought him a feedback of the breath of the law of calamity, which was almost equivalent to his killing of 2 half-step sixth-level skyborn demons. Just when Chen Ronghuo showed a satisfied look on his face, the 3 half-step sixth-level skyborn demons finally saw Chen Ronghuo with a bored orange fat cat hanging around his neck like a scarf. At the same time, they also saw Chen Ronghuo's revealed cultivation. Late 5th level. It's just the late 5th level. Die. The 3 half-step 6th level skyborn human devils roared at the same time, their violent and angry voices turning into rolling waves of sound, rushing towards Chen Ronghuo crazily. After the roaring sound, one of the heavenly bone human demons took out a blood-stained bronze spear, and using all his strength, he stabbed Chen Ronghuo fiercely. It's like a big demon came out of hell and wants to kill the world. A skybone human demon raised his palm high, and the pale white air flowed in his palm, turning into a strange mark. With a roar, it grew from small to large, and actually turned into a mountain more than 10 meters high, and smashed towards Chen Ronghuo. It's not that this heavenly bone human demon can't get a bigger mountain, but once a bigger mountain appears, the five-party mysterious god formation will twist the beyond-range power out of the formation. Therefore, this small mountain may not seem big, but it actually contains extremely powerful power. The last skybone human demon was filled with demonic energy. Between his hands, a strange big mouth split open from his chest. The big mouth opened, transmitting a strange force, which acted on Chen Ronghuo. It actually made Chen Ronghuo's body stiffen, and he felt an invisible restraint imposed on himself. Nice move. Chen Ronghuo smiled, made a fist with his hand, and followed the law of force to maximize the power. After rotating slightly, he suddenly took a step forward and transferred all his strength to his fist. At the same time, the demon disintegration technique was also used. Boom! He punched out. A fist that carries endless wind. Like the fist of a hurricane, the blink of an eye expanded rapidly in the eyes of the three people. But compared to me, you are still far behind. Chen Ronghuo spoke again. It's a lot worse, a lot worse. The repeated murmurs, like the devil's secret words, reached the ears of the three skybone demons, as if they were telling some certain fact in a declarative tone. The three heavenly bone human demons all had a meal. There was a faint feeling in my heart that I might really be much worse than Chen Ronghuo. And just when they had such an idea, the attacks they launched, as they wished, really became weaker. Boom boom boom. Just when they paused, Chen Ronghuo's body shook, and with a devastating force, he broke the layers of restraints imposed on him by the skybone human demon with a big mouth that split his chest. At the same time, he punched out, and in the blink of an eye he met the skybone demon holding a bronze spear. When the fist and the spear collided, Chen Rong turned his hand over and suddenly turned his fist into a claw, firmly grasping the blood-stained bronze spear in his hand. Click, click, click. Chen Ronghuo twisted his arm, suddenly bursting out with extreme rotational power. The terrifying power was transmitted from his arm and acted on the bronze spear, which began to rotate at an accelerated speed. And drove the arms of the heavenly bone human demon to rotate at a greater speed. The face of the heavenly bone human demon changed wildly. His eyes followed his arm holding the bronze spear, and he saw that his arm made a cracking sound under the extreme rotation force of Chen Ronghuo. Seal up. Chen Ronghuo spoke a word between his tongue. The face of the skybone human demon changed wildly, and he wanted to let go of his hand, but he found that the power of his soul was suddenly sealed by an influx of strange power. The speed at which consciousness is transmitted through the body suddenly becomes extremely slow. He wanted to let go, but his consciousness couldn't reach his hands at all. In other words, the transmission speed of consciousness is too slow. With a look of horror in his eyes, he could only watch as the flesh and blood on his arm exploded like exploding old tree bark amidst the continuous explosions. His bones were broken and melted inch by inch. It turned into slag powder and fell to the ground. And the rotating force soon followed his arm and acted on his body. His body also began to receive the same treatment. Distortion, deformation, collapse. No. The sky-bone human demon roared, his expression full of fear. But when he yelled, half of his body had collapsed, and only half of his head was left. Boom. The next moment, under his desperate gaze, Chen Ronghuo rushed in front of him, transformed his claws into fists again, and with one punch, he smashed the remaining half of his body into countless scum. Boom. At this time, the small mountain peak created by the Skybone Man Demon who smashed the mountain with his seal finally caught up with Chen Ronghuo and smashed it down from above his head. But as Chen Ronghuo raised his head, a black fierce light emerged in his eyes, and the small mountain peak seemed to pause faintly in the void. And just as he paused, Chen Ronghuo's other hand suddenly raised, and the laws of blood and power were activated simultaneously. His big hand actually transformed into something bigger than the hill, and he swept the mountain with one blow. A small mountain was held in his hand. Boom. Chen Ronghuo grabbed the hill and looked up at the two heavenly bone human demons not far away who looked extremely frightened. His arms followed the trajectory that was most conducive to exerting force, and after bending to the extreme like a spring, they suddenly rebounded. With a bang, Chen Ronghuo suddenly smashed the mountain peak in his hand towards the two sky-bone demons. Escape, escape. Looking at Chen Ronghuo who looked like a demon god, at this moment, the remaining two half-step 6th level sky-bone demons no longer had the idea of fighting with Chen Ronghuo. With a move of their bodies, the two accelerated and fled far away. Late 5th level? Damn late 5th level. Both of them were sure that Chen Ronghuo could never be a late 5th level cultivator. At this moment, the two no longer had the confidence they had when they first came here. Escape. Chen Ronghuo stepped on the ground with a powerful force, and the ground was stepped into countless cracks, like a spider web. The Sky Demon disintegration technique, which did not care about the loss at all, was activated. With a bang, he rushed behind the Skybone Demon who had a big mouth on his chest before. You can't escape, you can't escape. It was repeated again, with some mysterious and profound words, ringing in the ears of the two. Hearing Chen Ronghuo's words, the two Skybone Demons felt that their scalps were about to explode. After being transformed into Skybone Demons, they no longer considered themselves human. In their eyes, humans were their prey. And they were demons who used humans as food. However, it was not until they met Chen Ronghuo that they realized that demons also had natural enemies. And Chen Ronghuo was their natural enemy. In the repeated words, the speed of the Skybone Demon being chased by Chen Ronghuo could not help but slow down, as if he was having a nightmare, in which a tall and terrifying monster was chasing him. He ran away frantically, but he could not escape. Boom. Suddenly, he felt a pain in his chest. He looked down and saw a sharp claw with faint golden hair piercing through his back, grabbing his heart, and piercing through his chest. Puff. Before he could react, the still beating heart was suddenly crushed by the big hand. At the same time, an immense force burst out from his body, and with a bang, he was also blown into powder, following the footsteps of the previous Skybone Demon. Only his one relatively intact eye took in the scene as it flew out. I only have one eye left. Can I live like this? After the bloody eye fell to the ground, it rolled several times in the mud on the ground. Finally, the eyeball turned into a crack in the stone, as if it didn't look at Chen Ronghuo, and Chen Ronghuo wouldn't look at it either. At this time, the natural disaster flames in the entire valley had been extinguished. In the valley, except for Chen Ronghuo, there was only the Skybone demon who had escaped hundreds of meters away. Seal. Chen Ronghuo uttered another word. Under the cover of the 5-direction mystery array, most forces could not be activated at a distance of hundreds of meters. But the sealing power of the ancient book was an exception. This time, Chen Ronghuo chose to seal the speed of the power in the body of the Skybone demon. The speed of the power was sealed, and the speed of the Skybone demon's running immediately slowed down. Chen Ronghuo stepped on the ground and used the Sky Demon disintegration technique again without considering the loss, bursting out the power that should not belong to his level. The power he burst out when he used the Sky Demon disintegration technique was completely comparable to the power burst out when ordinary practitioners used powerful forbidden techniques. However, those powerful forbidden techniques usually have strong side effects. But when it comes to Chen Ronghuo, because of the law of immortality, the side effects of the Sky Demon disintegration secret technique are almost zero for him. Die. Seeing that Chen Ronghuo caught up with him, the Skybone demon turned around with a ferocious face, grabbed his hand behind his back, and with a bang, he pulled his spine out from behind. The bloody spine was held in his hand, like a blood-colored bone spear, stabbing straight into Chen Ronghuo's chest. Chen Ronghuo's face showed a trace of cruelty. He did not dodge, allowing the blood-colored bone spear transformed from the spine of the Skybone demon to pierce his chest inch by inch. When the blood-colored bone spear broke through his body's defense and completely pierced his chest, his figure had already approached it. Boom! Chen Ronghuo's big hand fell on his head. In the horrified eyes of the Skybone demon, the terrifying power carried by his big hand burst down layer by layer. Like a mountain, it pressed down on the top of the Skybone demon's head. The Skybone demon's head gradually became flat with a crackling sound, flush with his neck, and then flush with his shoulders, and finally his whole body became a pile of squeezed flesh and blood. Only the bones in his body, the bone spurs growing from the joints, and some broken parts can be seen piercing through the flesh and blood. Puff! Chen Ronghuo pulled out the blood-colored bone spear that had pierced his chest, bringing up a gushing line of blood. After the blood-colored bone spear was pulled out, the wound on Chen Ronghuo's body immediately began to wriggle rapidly, and healed without a trace in the blink of an eye. In fact, if he hadn't deliberately controlled it just now, the spear transformed from the spine of the Skybone demon might not have been able to penetrate him completely. After all, his defense was not false. Good tricks. Suddenly, accompanied by a voice, Chen Ronghuo raised his head and saw a huge Skybone demon with a sturdy body, almost twice as strong as the previous Skybone demons, suddenly appeared above the valley where he was. Not only that, this huge Skybone demon stood in the air. But under his feet, there was a black dragon hundreds of meters long, carrying him. Lei Zhenfei, 6th level early stage. Race, Skybone demon. Dark demon dragon, 6th level early stage. Originally a demon dragon clan raised by the demon dragon territory, after the demon dragon territory was destroyed by the Skybone territory, some demon dragons defected to the Skybone territory and became the mounts of the middle-level generals under the Skybone territory. Chen Ronghuo narrowed his eyes. The reason why he would rather get injured and take down the half-step 6th level Skybone demon as soon as possible was because he discovered the 6th level Skybone demon who suddenly came here during the battle. Meow. The fat cat, who was originally lying on Chen Ronghuo's neck boredly, saw the demon dragon under the Skybone demon's seat, and his cat eyes immediately lit up. Dragon Attribute Demon. Especially the 6th level Dragon Attribute Demon, for it is definitely a more perfect food than the most delicious fish. Meow meow meow. After the fat cat called out to the dark dragon, it immediately turned its head to Chen Ronghuo, and made a cat cry in Chen Ronghuo's ear, reminding Chen Ronghuo of the promise he had made to it to hunt a 6th level dragon for it. Its cultivation level is now only one step away from reaching the 6th level. In other words, it is only one step away from eating a 6th level dragon demon. Looking at the huge dark dragon swinging its tail and showing off its might above its head, its eyes showed a red light full of desire. Swallow this guy? As long as it swallows this guy, it can reach the 6th level in one fell swoop. Even reach the middle stage of the 6th level in one fell swoop. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 376. Seal up. With an idea, Chen Ronghuo communicated with the seal page of the ancient book and used the sealing technique on the dark dragon high in the sky. This time, he did not use the power of his soul to cooperate. But when he was using the sealing technique, his eyes seemed to light up and he looked behind Lei Zhenfei. It seemed as if something surprising appeared behind Lei Zhenfei. Peak Master, I will cooperate with you. Suddenly, Chen Ronghuo let out a loud shout. At the same time, with a bang, he released all his momentum. It seems that he has made up his mind to take down Lei Zhenfei in one go. High in the sky, when Chen Ronghuo shouted, the dark demon dragon's body swayed slightly under the effect of the sealing technique used by Chen Ronghuo. Above the demonic dragon of darkness, Lei Zhenfei's expression condensed, and he quickly turned his head and looked back. In the 5 directions mysterious formation, any normal attack that exceeds 15 meters will be reversed. The same is true for soul power. In addition, he did not sense any signs of Chen Ronghuo taking action, so under Chen Ronghuo's guidance, he subconsciously thought that a powerful person at the level of the peak master of the 5 factions alliance was really coming behind him. Boom! But just when he turned around, Chen Ronghuo turned around without any hesitation and ran several miles away in the blink of an eye. He ran out of the valley and escaped from Lei Zhenfei's sight. After getting out of Lei Zhenfei's sight, he immediately took out the map of the 2 realms, tore it open, passed through the space passage, and returned to the river crab territory. Court death. As soon as Chen Ronghuo disappeared, Lei Zhenfei, after discovering that he had been deceived, drove the dark demon dragon and quickly chased after him from behind. But after chasing out of the valley, he glanced around and quickly frowned. No. The human with the cat around his neck is missing. Lei Zhenfei looked surprised. He quickly drove the magic dragon and searched nearby. It's just that he searched almost all the hiding places nearby and couldn't find any trace of Chen Ronghuo. How is this possible? Lei Zhenfei was puzzled and even more unwilling. Boom! He exploded with all his strength and bombarded the surroundings indiscriminately. There is a layer of barrier at the top of the 5 directions mystic formation. All practitioners cannot fly to too high a place. Therefore, the altitude where Lei Zhenfei was only 200 to 300 meters high. At this height, he is not afraid of attracting the attention of the powerful men from the 5 factions alliance. Especially this time, the army that invaded the Tiangu territory was much larger than the powerful ones in the 5 factions alliance. If he can really attract the strong men from the 5 factions alliance, maybe then the strong men from the Tiangu territory will come to support him. River Crab Collar. Master, you lied. You said you were going to catch a 6th level dragon for me, but you lied to me and kept your word. After Chen Ronghuo brought Shamao back from the demon-sealed land, and after the huge dragon body of the dark demonic dragon disappeared from Shamao's sight, Shamao's bright eyes suddenly became dim. It was as if the whole world had lost its color. That's a 6th level dragon. Chen Ronghuo pulled the fat cat off his neck angrily, and that heavenly bone human demon is also a 6th level cultivator. How do you want me to help you catch him? I misjudged you. The fat cat said nothing. He just stared at Chen Ronghuo with a pair of cat eyes. Chen Ronghuo had no choice but to change his words. Those demon dragons were originally from the demon dragon territory. This time the Skybone territory invaded the 5 factions alliance. There must be many 6th level Skybone demons with demon dragon mounts. Just wait a little longer. When my cultivation reaches the 5th level peak, I will immediately catch a demon dragon for you to eat. In fact, Chen Ronghuo's desire to capture a 6th level magic dragon for Fat Mao was no less important than that of Shamao himself. He had long deduced from ancient books that as long as the fat cat eats a 6th level magic dragon, it will be able to advance to the mid-6th level in a short time. With Shamao's talent, once he reaches the mid-6th level, he is probably no match for ordinary late 6th level practitioners. When the time came, he asked Shamao to take action. Whether it was to unify the Deep Blue Sea and become the Lord of Deep Blue, or to hunt down the high-level Skybone humans and demons in the Skybone territory in the 5 Directions mysterious god formation, he could make his cultivators soaring as fast as a rocket. This time the Tiangu territory invades the 5 Factions Alliance. It is a huge opportunity for him. If he can make good use of this opportunity, his cultivation will definitely soar significantly in a short period of time. The time it takes for him to break through from the 5th level to the 6th level may be less than the time it takes to break through from the 4th level to the 5th level. Only. With his current strength, facing 2 6th level early stage cultivators, if he stayed to fight, he would simply be seeking death. Kitten? Did you and your master encounter a 6th order dragon this time? At this time, the voice of Big River Crab suddenly rang from Shamao's ears. Snort. Hearing the sound of the Big River Crab, Shamao immediately turned his head. It knew that the words coming out of the Big River Crab's mouth would definitely not be good. I'm telling you, you can't do this. Seeing the fat cat's appearance, Dahi Crab immediately began to mutter, whether you are a cat or a crab, you have to rely on yourself. Just like me. This time when the master went to the demon-sealed land, I accidentally dug out a large stone filled with earth attribute spiritual energy from the ground. When I digest this stone, my cultivation will be able to break through to at least half a step to the 6th level. The fat cat's orange hair exploded slightly. Don't want to talk. So infuriating. Seeing the fat cat's appearance, Big River Crab happily said, but if you call me Brother River Crab, when my cultivation reaches half a step to the 6th level, I will promise you that I will personally help you catch a 6th level dragon. Go to the demons. Hoo. The fat cat gasped. You can do it? Chen Ronghuo had no choice but to raise his foot and kick the Big River Crab. But with the size of a Big River Crab, his kick didn't have any strength at all. Chen Ronghuo sighed. In the past, river crabs were still very well behaved. But as its size becomes larger and larger, its mentality becomes a bit more rampant. Perhaps, Shamao should really improve his cultivation as soon as possible. He thought to himself. Fat cat's potential is actually not weak. Compared with most monsters, this guy is also a loser. It's just that Dahi Crab had set too high a level before, which resulted in Fat Cat being suppressed until now. But if you want to help Fat Cat catch a 6th level dragon, you have to improve your cultivation as soon as possible. Chen Ronghuo shook his head, this is a cycle. He exhaled a breath, and while refining the breath of the law of tribulation he had obtained before, he waited in the river crab territory. Lord. Just as Chen Ronghuo had been waiting for half an hour, a voice suddenly sounded from behind him. Chen Ronghuo turned his head and immediately saw Wu Piaoun, dressed in white, walking out of the earth attribute plane door next to the statue of his lord. Although the great river crab now holds up the black and white fog, most of the people in the river crab territory have still transferred to the earth attribute plane. There are only a few people in the city of Hexialing. Are you out of seclusion? Seeing Wu Piaoun, Chen Ronghuo's eyes lit up slightly. After Wu Piaoun was subdued by him, he has been in seclusion, practicing the complete version of the Sen Luo Wangxiang Tianju that he passed on to him. At this time, Wu Piaoun came out of seclusion and had probably successfully practiced this technique. After Ho San broke through from the 4th level to the 5th level, he had already begun to practice the Tianyuan demon skill taught to him by Chen Ronghuo. The full version of Senluo Wangxiang Tianju is actually a powerful skill that is no less powerful than the Tianyuan demonic skill practiced by Ho San. With Wu Piaoyun's talent, if he successfully cultivated this technique, he would probably be able to compete with ordinary mid-level 6th level practitioners. Thank you Lord for teaching me this skill. Wu Piaoyun saluted. He originally practiced the incomplete Senluo Wangxiang heavenly art. With his talent, the incomplete version of Senluo Wangxiang Tianju would not only not increase his strength much, but would actually drag down his strength. At this time, he had completed the heavenly art of Senluo Wangxiang, and without the burden of the possessed demon, his strength immediately improved a lot. Moreover, the possessed demon now in his body will not only not be a drag on him, but will also bring him some special abilities to further enhance his strength. It's your choice. Chen Ronghuo smiled. When Wu Piaoyun came out of seclusion, he had one more general under his command. And for now, he is still the strongest general under his command. 6th level. Chen Ronghuo's thoughts moved slightly. After thinking for a while, he suddenly said, "Next, you go to a place with me." He opened his mouth and told Wu Piaoyun about the demon sealing land. Wu Piaoyun had just become his subordinate not long ago, and he didn't know about the demon sealing land yet. The place where demons are sealed? After hearing Chen Ronghuo's story, Wu Piaoyun immediately showed a look of astonishment on his face. He knew about the demon-sealed land, but he never thought that Chen Ronghuo could travel to and from the demon-sealed land at any time. Chen Ronghuo's eyes flashed. "I am now a disciple of the Holy Tiger sect, a sect in the Holy Central Territory of the demon-sealed land. The Holy Tiger sect's hostile force, the Tiangu territory, is attacking the Holy Tiger section. I need you to go with me to hunt down the heavenly bones humans and demons in the Tiangu territory." Wu Piaoyun is his subordinate. Wu Piaoyun hunts the heavenly bones humans and demons in the heavenly bones territory. He can also get the feedback of the breath of the law of tribulation from the heaven and the earth. And with Wu Piaoyun's strength as a 6th level cultivator, it will definitely not take long to help him break through to the peak of the 5th level. He had previously killed 3 half-step 6th level cultivators, plus dozens of 5th level cultivators. The feedback of the breath of the law of tribulation he received from heaven and earth was almost equivalent to what he needed to break through to the 5th level peak. 1/3 of the breath of the law of calamity. As long as Jihao helps him lead 2 more waves of Skybone human demon teams at that level, he will almost be able to break through to the peak of the 5th level. Kill monsters and upgrade. There was something strange in Chen Ronghui's expression. For him who has mastered the law of tribulation, his current approach is almost the same as killing monsters and upgrading. Moreover, all the monsters killed by his men can be transformed into his own strength. Even this kind of monster killing upgrade that belongs to him is even more advanced than the one the gods worked on during the last change in the world to kill the monsters that came from the Black Demon Star to improve their cultivation. After all, killing demons coming from the Black Demon Star to increase the level is only useful for practitioners below level 4. Cultivators of the 4th level and above need to understand the mysteries of various laws before they can continue to improve their levels. Therefore, killing those demons coming from the Black Demon Stargate has almost no effect on practitioners of level 4 and above. If there are a large number of powerful people to kill for him, he estimates that it won't be a problem for him to reach the god level in one go. I don't know what the purpose of those departing gods is. Will there be another change? Chen Ronghuo made a guess in his mind. In the midst of speculation, he asked Dehi Krab to create a few more pictures of the 2 realms, and then took Wu Piaoyun back to the area covered by the 5 directions mystic formation. When Chen Ronghuo carried the map of the 2 realms and walked through the demon-sealed land, Dehi Krab could sense it and record the spatial coordinates of wherever he walked. In other words, Chen Ronghuo can go to wherever he goes at any time through Dehi Krab. This is his major advantage here. Soon, Chen Ronghuo took Wu Piaoyun to the valley where he was before. Quite irritable. After returning to the valley, Chen Ronghuo glanced at it and saw that the entire valley had been completely destroyed. You don't need to think too much to know that this is probably the result of Lei Zhenfei's anger because he couldn't find him. Chen Ronghuo wondered in his mind whether he could hunt down the dragon under him if he met Lei Zhenfei again and Wu Piaoyun was there. He looked into the distance and sensed Ji Hao's location. He narrowed his eyes and said to Wu Piaoyun, "Come on, follow me." Immediately, he took Wu Piaoyun and rushed in one direction. Other people in his territory, such as Wang Dynasty, Ho San, and others, are practicing in seclusion. So this time, he didn't bring any other men. He previously broke through 3 territories in a row and gained a lot of power of faith. The power of faith was given to his men by him. Because he has too much power in the laws of cultivation, using the power of faith to practice consumes too much. In addition, he can get feedback from the breath of the law of calamity from heaven and earth by killing enemies, so the biggest effect of the power of faith on him now is to burn it and then apply it to himself to enhance his strength. It is better to give all the remaining power of faith to his subordinates to comprehensively enhance the strength of his territory. Later, when all his men are strong, he doesn't need to do anything. All you need to do is release your men and let them go to each force to attack the city. Then, while sitting at home, he can get a lot of feedback from the breath of the law of tribulation and improve his cultivation. Although this is a beautiful wish, Chen Ronghuo feels that this wish is definitely possible to come true. After all of his men are considered true geniuses. With his help, once they grow up, they will probably be as good as those god generals under the Lord of Darkness. There is no one there. Is this the gathering point for the disciples of the 5 factions alliance that you are looking for? A group of dozens of sky-bone human demons were crowding around Ji Hao while looking for disciples from the 5 sects alliance. They were taken to the valley by Ji Hao before, but no one was seen, and they were all suffocated. My lords, this is really not my fault. You have also seen that there must have been a large number of disciples from the 5 factions alliance gathering there before, but it was only because other adults got there first that this happened. Following these sky-bone human demons, Ji Hao felt like a sheep in a pack of wolves. His face turned pale. I don't know if it's caused by the broken arm or depression. That guy must have encountered a 6th level sky-bone human demon, but why can't even a 6th level sky-bone human demon kill him? Ji Hao gritted his teeth secretly. He dropped his consciousness into the sea of his soul. I saw that in the sea of his soul, the sea of runes formed by the soul core that Chen Ronghuo penetrated did not have any fluctuations. The existence of this thing clearly proves that Chen Ronghuo is still intact. Someone. Suddenly, the eyes of a heavenly bone human demon lit up. Everyone followed the gaze of the sky-bone human demon and saw rays of light bursting out in the sky a few hundred meters in front of them. They could see with the naked eye that several disciples of the 5 sects alliance were being raped. A group of sky-bone humans and demons surrounded and killed him. Damn it, how could it be them? Ji Hao's expression immediately changed when he saw the humans being surrounded and killed. He recognized at a glance that the people who were surrounded and killed were none other than Chen Ronghuo's senior brothers and sisters. He couldn't see the people on the ground. But high in the sky, he saw Chen Ronghui's senior brother Lu Moning and his 3rd senior sister Jin Qingxian. As for whether there were others, he didn't know. But that's enough. If it were any other time, he would naturally wish Lu Moning, Jin Qingxian, and others to die. But now, he knew that once Chen Ronghuo knew about this, and knew that he watched Lu Moning, Jin Qingxian, and others being killed by the Tiangu demon, his end would definitely not be much better. Damn it! Ji Hao's face looked extremely ugly. He felt like he was going crazy. As a newly promoted 5th level true disciple of the Holy Tiger sect, he naturally has his own arrogant side, but in such a battlefield, he, a 5th level practitioner who has just entered the 5th level, can't do anything at all. Huh? Someone is here again. Suddenly, another heavenly bone human demon let out a soft cry, seeming a little surprised. The other sky-bone human demons followed his gaze and immediately saw a figure wearing a black and red robe, rushing towards him from a distance. I know him. This man seems to be the junior brother of those who were surrounded and killed. His name is Xuanhuan. He is a peerless genius of the Holy Tiger sect. Yes, it's him, that's for sure. I remember His Royal Highness Bloodbone seemed to have issued a reward for him. We're going to do it this time. The eyes of all the heavenly bone human demons were attracted by Chen Ronghuo, and they all subconsciously ignored Wu Piaoun, who was beside Chen Ronghuo, slightly behind, and following closely beside him. Because of the distance and the special environment here, no one could see Wu Piaoun's cultivation at this time. Kill all the heavenly bones humans and demons, not a single one is left. Chen Ronghuo looked at Lu Moning and Jin Qingxian, who was being surrounded and killed by a large group of sky bone demons in the distance, and his whole body boiled with murderous intent. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 377. They are Lu Moning and Jin Qingxian, the true disciples of the Holy Tiger sect. There seem to be other people on the ground. What should we do? Should we go up? More than a dozen heavenly bones demons surrounded Lu Moning and Jin Qingxian, fighting fiercely. 1,000 meters away, 5 disciples of the Jtao sect were hiding behind a huge rock. They all hesitated when they saw this scene. Can't get on. A disciple of the Jew sword sect with 3 knives on his back shook his head. There are more than a dozen sky-bone human demons surrounding them, and they are not weak in strength. Even if we go up, we may not be able to save them. Moreover, there are too many heavenly bone human demons these days, and there might be other heavenly bone human demons ambushing them nearby. If we step forward rashly, we may even get caught in it. When the other disciples of the Jew sword sect heard this, their expressions became gloomy. The once powerful 5 factions alliance was actually bullied to its doorstep. But they also knew that the man with 3 swords was right. At this time, the strength of the heavenly bone human demons surrounding Lu Moning and Jin Qingxian had all reached the 5th level. More than a dozen 5th level heavenly bone demons attack together. Even if they go up, it may not be effective. Yin. Suddenly, a skybone human demon held a bone sword and fired out a pale sword light. Jin Qingxian, who was wearing a blue dress, was caught off guard, and his waist was suddenly stained with blood. Junior sister, be careful. Lu Moning spoke eagerly. But because he was stronger and there were more people surrounding him, there was no way he could help Jin Qingxian. Let's go. Suddenly, a sharp light flashed in the eyes of the disciple of the Jew sword sect who was carrying 3 swords. Senior brother? Several other people looked at the man with 3 swords in confusion. Just now, their senior brother was said to be unavailable. This can't go on like this. The man with 3 swords gritted his teeth. If everyone does not go up in the face of danger, the remaining disciples of our 5 factions alliance will only become fewer and fewer, and then we will have no chance at all. All of us will be killed by people from Tiangu territory. Whoosh. When he finished speaking, the man with 3 swords had turned into a stream of light and rushed out. His impulse was a rational decision. But it's also that his blood has not been lost. Whoosh whoosh. When several other disciples of the Jew sword sect saw the man with 3 swords rushing forward, they immediately gritted their teeth and followed closely behind. Haha, this method really works. But just when the 3-knife man and others had just rushed into the battlefield, a dozen more skybone human demons rushed out in an instant a few hundred meters away from the other side of the battlefield. These dozen or so heavenly bone demons also have 5th level cultivation. No, we were fooled. Suddenly, when they saw these people, the man with 3 swords and others,
Their faces all turned pale. Knowing that he and others had fallen into the trap of Tiangu territory. Lu Moning and Jin Qingxian, who originally had a glimmer of hope when they saw the three-knife man and others arriving, suddenly turned extremely ugly after seeing these dozen or so skyborn human demons. They had no idea that the people in the Tiangu territory were actually using them as bait to catch bigger fish. Li Sandeo. Lu Moning turned his head and looked at the man with three swords who was already fighting with several skyborn demons and said, "This time I'm the one who got you involved. There is no such thing as being implicated. I brought this upon myself." Li Sandeo roared. The emaciated body burst out with tyrannical power, as if he was going to use up all his strength in this battle. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. At this moment, several people glanced out of the corner of their eyes and saw several more skyborn human demons suddenly rising into the sky in the distance. They looked along the skyborn human demons that were flying into the air, and saw that there were dozens of skyborn human demons under those skyborn human demons. There are so many more? Several people looked at each other and laughed bitterly. At this time, there were already 20 skyborn human demons surrounding them. And that's not counting the several skyborn human demons who were surrounding and killing Pang Yun and Zhan's hyping on the ground. If we add those skyborn demons in the distance, then this time, it can really be regarded as a dragnet. When the 5 directions mysterious formation is activated, the people in the formation can be randomly moved to other places. But if prepared in advance, a group of people can appear in a certain place at the same time. Just like Chen Ronghuo and Ji Hao before. This is also the case for Lu Moning, Jin Qingxian, Pang Yun, and Zhan's hyping. In fact, after they learned about the 5 directions mystic formation at that time, they discovered that Chen Ronghuo did not go to the sect square and thought about going to find Chen Ronghuo. But before they could take action, the 5 directions divine formation was activated and moved them to a nearby area. However, when a few people were smiling bitterly, the faces of the skyborn human demons who surrounded and killed them also showed surprise after seeing the group of skyborn human demons in the distance. It seemed as if they were also unaware of the group of skyborn human demons. Wrong. Suddenly, Lu Moning's pupils shrank. He found that another group of skyborn human demons in the distance did not rush toward them after appearing. Instead, he rushed in the other direction. That's... A vague figure appeared in Lu Moning's sight. As the figure got closer and closer, its appearance became clearer and clearer. Its junior brother. Under the influence of the 5 directions divine formation, it was only then that Lu Mo recognized Chen Ronghuo. Go back. Lv Mo roared loudly while dealing with the siege of the skyborn demon. But his roar could not be heard that far under the effect of the 5 direction god magic formation. Junior brother? Damn it! Are you a fool? At this time, Jin Qingxian also recognized Chen Ronghuo. But she and Lu Mo knew that Chen Ronghuo was not even at the 5th level 8 years ago. In just 8 years, how fast can he practice? In particular, Chen Ronghuo had been in seclusion for 8 years, and they all thought that Chen Ronghuo had just broken through to the 5th level at most. A 5th level early stage cultivator is not a weakling. But in such a battlefield, a 5th level early stage cultivator can't decide anything. Of course, they all saw Wu Piaoun who was following Chen Ronghuo. But because they didn't know Wu Piaoun, they didn't care. A person who followed Chen Ronghuo and was mainly Chen Ronghuo, even if he was powerful, how powerful could he be? Seal. Just as they were thinking this, Chen Ronghuo's eyes flashed with cold light after he approached the dozens of skyborn demons in front of him. The next moment, he directly activated the 3 seal pages of the ancient book. He sealed the 3 half-step 6th level skyborn demons among the dozens of skyborn demons blocking him. Senluo Wangxiang. At the same time, Wu Piaoun, who had been following him in a dull manner, moved his body and transformed into dozens of phantoms, rushing to the front of those skyborn demons in an instant and attacking them at the same time. This is one of the secret techniques of the complete version of Senluo Wangxiang Tianzhu. The clone phantoms created by Wu Piaoun using this technique all have a certain real attack power. And some clone phantoms also transformed into weapons such as swords, spears, and halberds. Bang, bang, bang. Fist, palm, finger, knife. Wu Piaoun practiced the law of martial arts and the law of all things. The perfect combination of the two, coupled with the 10,000 things heavenly art, made him almost able to compete with ordinary 6th level midterm practitioners. Most of the dozens of heavenly bone demons in front of him were 5th level. Only 3 heavenly bone demons had the cultivation of half-step 6th level. But before the 3 half-step 6th level heavenly bone demons could make a move, Chen Ronghuo used the ancient book sealing technique to seal part of their power. A duel between strong men, life and death in an instant. Wu Piaoun received Chen Ronghuo's command. As soon as the 3 half-step 6th level heavenly bone demons made a mistake, he split out 3 relatively stronger clones and phantoms and bullied them. At the same time, he held a knife and slashed at the 3 half-step 6th level heavenly bone demons. Swish! The knife light flashed. In an instant, the 3 clones and phantoms slashed out dozens of knives. The dazzling sword light illuminated the world in a white expanse. 6th level. The 3 half-step 6th level heavenly bone demons all had wild expressions. None of them had expected that Wu Piaoun, who they had never taken seriously, was actually a 6th level cultivator. But this was not the most important thing. The most important thing was that when they were ready to resist with all their strength, they found that their power had been sealed inexplicably by some secret technique. After removing the sealed part of the power, their strength instantly dropped from half-step 6th level to the peak of 5th level. With the strength of the peak of 5th level, facing the attack of a 6th level cultivator, even if this 6th level cultivator also divided a part of his power to deal with others at the same time, the 3 of them were still in a life and death crisis. Boom boom boom. They all used their strongest means to try to block Wu Piaoun's attack. But after Wu Piaoun's clone phantom slashed out more than a dozen sword lights, they were already seriously injured and all flew backwards. Generally, it takes 7 or 8 half-step 6th level cultivators to compete with an ordinary 6th level cultivator. They were not numerous enough, and with Chen Ronghuo secretly using his power, they were no match for Wu Piaoun. At the same time, as the 3 half-step 6th level heavenly bone demons were seriously injured, most of the remaining 5th level heavenly bone demons could not hold on, some died and some were injured. Chen Ronghuo followed closely behind. He waved his arm, and suddenly a large area of natural disaster magic flames, like a black and red ocean filled with disaster aura, swept forward, and in the blink of an eye, all the heavenly bone demons in front of him were submerged in it. Ah! The screams were continuous. After Chen Ronghuo used the natural disaster magic flames, the heavenly bone demons, who could only barely hold on in Wu Piaoun's hands, suddenly all encountered the last straw that broke the camel's back. In a breath, all died in the blazing black and red flames. Then, when Chen Ronghuo walked into the center of the flames he had released, black and red skulls covered with strange patterns rushed out of the flames and flew into his body. In the blink of an eye, dozens of heavenly bone demons were killed. A 5th level cultivator can already serve as an elder in the 5-sex alliance. A cultivator who has cultivated to the 5th level before the age of 200 can even become a true disciple. In other words, in this instant, Chen Ronghuo and Wu Piaoun almost killed dozens of elders of the Holy Tiger sect. Chen Ronghuo estimated that, counting the sky bone demons he had killed before, plus the ones this time, there were probably no more sky bone demons of level 5 left in a large area nearby, except for the level 5 sky bone demons that were besieging Lu Emoning, Jin Qingxian and others. After all, the 5-direction magic array was randomly moved. There were also a limited number of level 5 sky bone demons in the army of the sky bone territory. The reason why Chen Ronghuo was able to gather so many sky-bone demons so smoothly was all because of Ji Hao. If it weren't for Ji Hao and the strange treasure in Ji Hao's hand, he would never have been able to gather so many sky-bone demons of level 5 and above together to kill them. How is this possible? In the distance, Lu Emoning and Jin Qingxian, who were fighting with the sky-bone demons in the sky, opened their mouths slightly when they saw the scene from afar. Chen Ronghuo and Wu Piaoun were naturally happy to kill dozens of sky-bone demons in an instant. But compared to being happy, they felt more shocked. It was incredible. Although there was the five-direction bewildering god formation, they could still see the level of the heavenly bone demons that Chen Ronghuo and Wu Piaoun had just killed. Level 5. Level 5 like them. So many level 5 heavenly bone demons were killed in just a moment. The junior brother is so powerful. And who is the person next to the junior brother? LV Emoning and Jin Qingxian were puzzled. At the same time, the 5 people from the Absolute Sword sect took a deep breath when they saw this scene. LV Emoning, is that your junior brother, the peerless genius from the Holy Tiger sect? Li Sandao of the Absolute Sword sect burst out with all his strength, forcing out the several heavenly bone demons that surrounded him. He had been desperate before. But when he saw Chen Ronghuo and Wu Piaoun, hope finally emerged in his heart. Yes, should be, right. LV Emoning smacked his lips, and with his wrinkled white robe, his original elegant temperament had long disappeared. 4th junior brother, 6th junior brother, hold on, the younger junior brother is here to save us. Suddenly, LV Emoning seemed to have thought of something, and as his figure flashed, he moved closer to the ground and immediately shouted at the bottom. Below their aerial battlefield, Pang Yun and Zhan's Haiping were also being surrounded and killed. There were 4 sky-bone demons who surrounded and killed them. These 4 sky-bone demons, 2 in the middle stage of the 5th level and 2 in the early stage of the 5th level, were the same as Pang Yun and Zhan's Haiping. Pang Yun had a deep foundation and was immersed in the middle stage of the 5th level for a long time, and he could still hold on. But Zhan's Haiping, like Ji Hao, was just entering the 5th level. After practicing to the 5th level, he had not practiced a few 5th level secret techniques, and faced the siege of 2 sky-bone demons of the same level. He was already stretched to the limit. Junior brother is here to save us. Pang Yun was stunned when he heard what Lu Emoning said. He and Chen Ronghuo had only met once, that is, when he gave the sound transmission box to Chen Ronghuo. The image of Chen Ronghuo appeared in his mind, and he couldn't help but look up at Lu Emoning, wondering if Lu Emoning was desperate and crazy. In his heart, Chen Ronghuo was still the junior brother of the 4th level. Even if Chen Ronghuo broke through to the 5th level, how could he save them in this heavy siege? On the other side, Zhan's Haiping, who once regarded Chen Ronghuo as a competitor, was surprised and was cut on his arm by a Tiangurenmo with his claws, leaving a bleeding cut. After breaking through to the 5th level and becoming a true disciple of the Holy Tiger sect, he saw that Chen Ronghuo had not been able to break through for a long time, and he had already given up on whether to take Chen Ronghuo into his heart, and only thought about how to surpass Ji Hao in cultivation. As for the idea of jealousy of Chen Ronghuo before, it was gone long ago. But he also couldn't believe that Chen Ronghuo would come to save him when he was in deep danger. Or, even if Chen Ronghuo really came, what would he use to save them? Because of the special effect of the 5-direction magic array, and because they were both fighting with 4 heavenly bone demons on the ground, they didn't know what Chen Ronghuo had just done. They didn't know that Chen Ronghuo was followed by Wu Piaoun and a 6th level cultivator. Whoosh! At this time, Chen Ronghuo and Wu Piaoun turned into 2 streams of light and rushed towards them. As Chen Ronghuo flew, he temporarily sealed up all the breath of the law of calamity that had just flowed into his body. He estimated that if he killed another wave of heavenly bone demons like the one just now, he would be able to break through to the peak of the 5th level. When his cultivation reached the peak of the 5th level, he would be fearless in the face of ordinary 6th level cultivators. Even with the power of the ancient book, it was not impossible for him to kill a 6th level cultivator alone. In a moment, Chen Ronghuo and Wu Piaoun arrived in the sky above the battlefield where Lu Emoning, Jin Qingxian and others were. Really, junior brother. At this time, Pang Yun finally saw Chen Ronghuo. But he still didn't have much hope for Chen Ronghuo. With a turn of his eyes, he set his sights on Wu Piaoun beside Chen Ronghuo. Is this, level 6? Pang Yun's eyes lit up, and he vaguely felt that he understood what Lu Emoning said. He guessed that Lu Emoning was probably confused by the fighting. What level of cultivation is Chen Ronghuo, doesn't he know yet? Even a 5th stage cultivator like him can only become a burden in such a battle. What is the purpose of Chen Ronghuo, who has just broken through to the 5th stage early stage, coming here? However, if the strange cultivator next to Chen Ronghuo is really a 6th stage cultivator as he guessed, then the result will be completely different. You are looking for death. However, at this moment, a roar suddenly came from a distance. Immediately, everyone saw 2 tall sky-bone demons suddenly flying out from the other side hundreds of meters away. As soon as these 2 sky-bone demons appeared, they released an extraordinary momentum and swept away the air around their bodies. The terrifying wind pressure made their figures become a little trance. Luo Pan, Gao Kan, 6th stage early stage. Race, Skybone Demon. Seeing these 2 extraordinary Skybone demons flying out from a distance, Chen Ronghuo raised his eyebrows and quickly identified their attributes. After Luo Pan and Gao Kan flew out from a distance, they immediately set their sights on Wu Piaoun. This time, it was the work of the 2 of them to let more than a dozen 5th level Skybone demons surround Lu Emoning and others without killing them. The dozens of Skybone demons led here by Jihao were just a surprise to them. But after Chen Ronghuo and Wu Piaoun appeared, they killed the dozens of 5th level Skybone demons in the blink of an eye, which still made them feel extremely angry. 6th level Skybone demon? Seeing these 2 Skybone demons who suddenly appeared, Lu Emoning, Jin Qingxian, Pang Yun, Zhang Haiping and Li Sandao of the Jtao sect, who had just had hope, instantly felt depressed. They never thought that the real backup of the Skybone territory was actually 2 6th level Skybone demons. However, when everyone else was heavy in their hearts and showed a look of complete despair on their faces, Chen Ronghuo showed a hint of surprise on his face after identifying the attributes of the 2 Skybone demons. With Wu Piaoun, who is as powerful as a 6th level mid-stage cultivator, facing these 2 6th level heavenly bone demons, can he defeat one of them with all his strength? Chen Ronghuo's eyes were burning. Adding the breadth of the law of calamity he had accumulated before, if he defeated one of these 2 6th level heavenly bone demons, he would most likely be able to break through to the peak of the 5th level in a short period of time. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 378. Boom. Seeing 2 6th level early stage heavenly bone demons coming to kill, Wu Piaoun, who received instructions from Chen Ronghuo, immediately used the heavenly art of all things, and transformed into 2 phantom clones which fought and collided with the 2 6th level early stage heavenly bone demons. With Wu Piaoun's current realm, he can even split hundreds of phantom clones at a time. But the more phantom clones he splits, the weaker the strength of each one. Facing 2 6th level practitioners, even he dared not be careless, and at most he only dared to split 2 phantom clones. As for his real body, it was transferred back and forth between the 2 phantom clones, making it impossible for people to find it. Junior brother, hurry up. Seeing that Wu Piaoun actually stopped 2 6th level heavenly bone demons by himself, Lu Emoning and Jin Qingxian were relieved. But they knew that even if Wu Piaoun could stop 2 6th level heavenly bone demons, they didn't have much hope of escaping this time. After all, there were more than 20 5th level skybone demons around them, besieging and killing them. Before, These Skybone demons were not in a hurry to kill them in order to attract more disciples from the 5 sects. But now, these people have attracted a 6th level strongman, and both of them estimated that these people would probably go all out soon. Once these people go all out, relying on the advantage of numbers, they will probably not be able to hold on soon. And Chen Ronghuo, who had just cultivated to the 5th level, rushed here at this time. What else can he do except die? The two looked at Chen Ronghuo from a distance, and their faces showed anxiety. Go. At the same time, Pang Yun below, even Zhan's Haiping, who had been jealous of Chen Ronghuo, and Li Sandao and his 5 people who joined the battle later, also shouted loudly, urging Chen Ronghuo to leave. With 2 6th level Skybone demons taking action, plus so many 5th level Skybone demons besieging and killing them, they all felt that there was no possibility of survival. But Chen Ronghuo, who had just arrived at the edge of the battlefield, was different. If Chen Ronghuo had acted decisively and escaped immediately, there might still be hope of escape. Go? Where to go? At this moment, 2 of the heavenly bone demons who surrounded and killed Lu Emoning and Jin Qingxian suddenly rushed out and came to Chen Ronghuo in an instant. These 2 heavenly bone demons were both in the late 5th stage of cultivation. The 2 heavenly bone demons in the late 5th stage attacked at the same time, obviously intending to take down Chen Ronghuo in one fell swoop. The 2 heavenly bone demons rushed out side by side. One of them, after rushing to 15 meters in front of Chen Ronghuo, immediately raised the big knife in his hand and slashed it out. The dazzling knife light, like a long river of knives, arrived in front of Chen Ronghuo in the blink of an eye. Junior brother. Lu Emoning and others were all nervous when they saw this scene. But they couldn't spare the heart to help Chen Ronghuo. Your knife is far worse than Li Bing's knife. However, when Chen Ronghuo saw this heavenly bone demon take action, a sneer suddenly appeared on his face. His voice, faster than the sword light, reached the ears of the Skybone demon. Compared with Li Bing, who wielded the divine weapon of victory, the swordsmanship of this Skybone demon was really much worse. This Skybone demon also comprehended the law of sword, but he only comprehended part of the law of sword, and then combined this part of the law of sword with the law of stars, lacking that sense of purity. It doesn't mean that impure laws are not strong. The law of arrow, which is a combination of dynasty and star law, is equally powerful. However, the law comprehended by the Skybone demon looks a bit deformed, and it is obviously forcibly blended. You are also qualified to evaluate my swordsmanship. The Skybone demon sneered, and the sword light emitted by him slightly accelerated. He didn't know who Li Bing was, but no matter who Li Bing was, he just needed to kill Chen Ronghuo. Chen Ronghuo didn't say anything else. Just when the blade light reached him, his eyes shone with a divine light, and all his strength instantly emanated from his feet, layered upwards, and reached his fist in a moment. Boom! The 3 laws of force, immortality, and bloodline appeared at the same time, and a layer of crystal white light spread out on his fist in an instant. When the white light appeared, he moved his body and smashed his fist out. He punched the blade light slashed by the 5th level late stage Skybone demon, and instantly smashed the blade light into pieces. When the blade light was broken, countless spiritual lights flashed, and the Skybone demon's eyes showed a look of horror. Chen Ronghuo's figure flashed, and he rushed in front of him. And the punch he just threw forward, with the remaining power, burned with a black and red flame, and in the unbelievable eyes of the Skybone demon, with a bang, it pierced through his chest. The raging flames burned violently. In the blink of an eye, the 5th stage Skybone demon, whose life force was annihilated by Chen Ronghuo's punch, turned into an illusory black-red skull in the flames and flew into Chen Ronghuo's body. At this time, another Skybone demon who had just raised his fist, whose cultivation was also the 5th stage Skybone demon, saw this scene, and his pupils shrank dozens of times in an instant. Roar! Chen Ronghuo's eyes fell on the Skybone demon, and without any hesitation, he roared at him. This was the sound of a pure tiger roar. As the tiger roared, a golden-red illusory tiger faintly roared out of Chen Ronghuo's mouth, carrying a strong kingly pressure. This is the law of the soul, in conjunction with the law of blood. With a roar, the figure of the sky-bone human demon, who was originally frightened by Chen Ronghuo, suddenly froze. And just when his figure was stagnant in the void, Chen Ronghuo had already arrived in front of him and put his hands on his shoulders. No. This heavenly bone demon seemed to have noticed what Chen Ronghuo was going to do, and when he realized what he was doing, he immediately yelled in horror. But as soon as his voice came out, Chen Ronghuo's arms began to exert force. A powerful burst of power was like the sky collapsing. With a bang, the heavenly bone human demon was torn into two halves by Chen Ronghuo. Using three major laws that can increase power at the same time, Chen Ronghuo's power exploded, which was by no means comparable to that of practitioners at the same level as him. There was blood all over the sky, and a lot of debris, falling like rain. Chen Ronghuo walked out of the rain of blood without a drop of blood. Late 5th level? Lu Moning and others were shocked when they saw this scene. It wasn't until Chen Ronghuo got closer to them that they realized that Chen Ronghuo's cultivation had actually reached the late 5th level. At the same time, it was only then that they understood why Chen Ronghuo had not left seclusion for 8 years. Chen Ronghuo did not encounter a bottleneck when he broke through to the 5th level as they imagined. Instead, after breaking through to the 5th level, he continued to break through to the late 5th level. Jin Qingxian, whose body was stained with blood in many places, opened his mouth slightly. She never thought that in just 8 years, Chen Ronghuo's cultivation would be the same as hers. Especially the combat power that Chen Ronghuo just showed is much stronger than hers. However, no matter how strong Chen Ronghuo is, he is only in the late 5th level. Although there were no half-step 6th level demons surrounding them at this time, there were several peak 5th level ones. Junior brother, go rescue your 4th and 6th brothers, and then leave here quickly with them. Jin Qingxian suddenly let out a clear drink. The light of the sword in her hand was crisp and clear, faintly revealing an extreme sharpness. She still didn't think that Chen Ronghuo could save them all from the hands of so many sky-bone human demons. After all, no matter how you think about it, this is unrealistic. But after Chen Ronghuo showed his super strength, a kind of hope arose in her heart. That is, he, Lu Moning and others tried their best to hold down the others, and maybe Chen Ronghui could rescue Pang Yun and Zhan's Haiping from here. Save 4th senior brother and 6th senior brother. Chen Ronghuo turned his head slightly and cast his gaze on the ground, where Pang Yun and Zhan's Haiping were fighting with 2 mid-level 5th level and 2 early-level 5th level sky-bone human demons. After taking one look at the two of them, Chen Ronghuo looked at the 4 heavenly bone human demons. Being stared at by Chen Ronghuo's gaze, the 4 heavenly bone human demons suddenly felt a sense of terror. It was as if they were being watched by something evil and terrifying. This is another wonderful use of the law of the soul. It can make enemies timid, thereby lowering their soul's defense. Go, die, 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 die. Immediately, Chen Ronghuo made a weak sound from his mouth that only he could hear, and began to curse these 4 heavenly bones humans and demons whose cultivation levels were not as good as his own. With the activation of the spell technique and the influence of the invisible law of calamity, the minds of the 4 heavenly bone demons were all in a trance. Ah, I can't live anymore. Suddenly, a 5th level early stage heavenly bone demon who was fighting with Zhan's Haiping was stimulated by some unknown source. He roared and rushed 100 meters away. Then he looked crazy, holding the sword with both hands, and actually pierced his chest with the sword. This scene made everyone stunned. Don't know what happened. I won't live either. Suddenly, another 5th level early stage sky-bone human demon also went crazy. He didn't rush far away, but he raised his 2 big hands. He turned his two big hands into two fists the size of sandbags, and punched his temples with both hands. There was a loud bang. This skyborn human demon actually blasted his own head into countless flesh and blood residues. These two early-stage 5th-order skyborn human demons died in such a weird way. The two mid-stage 5th-order heaven-born human demons not far away from them turned pale, showing extremely fearful expressions. And with the death of the two early-stage 5th-level skyborn demons, no one shared the curse with them, and the power of the curse they suffered became stronger. It's you. Almost at the same time, both of them raised their heads and laid their eyes on Chen Ronghuo. At this moment, they all noticed it. I noticed that the strange and invisible power of the curse came from Chen Ronghuo. It's me, it's me, it's me. But when they set their sights on Chen Ronghuo, a huge figure exactly like Chen Ronghuo suddenly appeared in their minds. The huge figure was extremely tall. But after he appeared, he bent down and put a huge face in front of them. They could even feel the strange breath coming out of the huge figure's mouth. Then, the huge face that looked exactly like Chen Ronghuo opened its mouth slightly with a strange smile and whispered in their ears, repeating the words, "It's me, it's me, it's me." Ah! Suddenly, when the two 5th-level mid-level skyborn demons set their eyes on Chen Ronghuo at the same time and shouted, "It's you," they suddenly screamed "Ah!" at the same time, their eyes bulged out, as if they had encountered something terrifying, and their souls collapsed directly, and they were scared to death on the spot. In front of the two skyborn demons, Pang Yun and Zhan's Haiping, who had been suppressed by them before and had no power to resist, were stunned. They had no idea what was going on. "Junior brother, you." At the same time, LVMO Ning and Jin Qingxian, who also saw this scene, also showed a look of doubt when they set their eyes on Chen Ronghuo. Just one glance. They didn't see how Chen Ronghuo had just made his move. What method did he use? "Big brother, third sister, don't worry, I'm here, everything will be fine." Chen Ronghuo turned his head and comforted him slightly. "Boy, who do you think you are?" Suddenly, a 5th-level peak skyborn demon who surrounded and killed LVMO Ning snorted coldly after hearing Chen Ronghuo's words, and waved his hand. In a flash, he led 6 skyborn demons and rushed straight to Chen Ronghuo to kill him. "Just a curse technique, you can curse and kill people with lower cultivation than you, can you curse and kill us?" The 5th-level peak skyborn demon sneered when approaching Chen Ronghuo. He had already seen Chen Ronghuo's method. The curse technique is very strong. But this kind of strength usually requires long-term preparation, and then a conspiracy against the enemy can maximize the power of the curse technique. Just like when Chen Ronghuo was in that valley before, he could kill dozens of 5th-level practitioners in one fell swoop because he had cast countless curses in the valley in advance. Even the 3 half-step 6th-level practitioners were tricked by him. If not, he alone would definitely not be able to take down so many 5th-level and above heavenly bone demons at one time. "Brother, be careful." Seeing the 7 heavenly bone demons rushing towards Chen Ronghuo, LVMO Ning, Jin Qingxian and others were all shocked. They were all shocked by Chen Ronghuo's methods just now, and for a moment, they let these heavenly bone demons leave easily and kill Chen Ronghuo. Just in time. But Chen Ronghuo smiled even more when he saw these 7 people coming. With LVMO Ning and others helping him hold back the other heavenly bone demons, even if he was not prepared in advance, he could kill the remaining 20 or so heavenly bone demons in front of him. Seal. Seeing that the 7 skybone demons were about to kill him and were about to get within 15 meters of him, Chen Ronghuo moved his mind and injected a large amount of his soul power into the ancient book. Then he used the sealing pages of 4 ancient books at the same time to seal 4 of the 7 skybone demons. In an instant, the 4 skybone demons lost most of their power under Chen Ronghuo's sealing technique. Death. At the same time, he once again let out a terrifying tiger roar full of death. In the tiger roar, he once again activated the law of power, the law of immortality, and the law of blood. His palms and arms suddenly became larger, forming a golden red tiger claw. With a sharp cold light, he rushed to the 7 skyborn demons in front and grabbed them. At the same time, the law of calamity and the law of curse were also issued. Thanks to Eastern Dragon for the 200 coin reward. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 379. Roar. Chen Ronghuo clawed out with a terrifying tiger roar. At this moment, he seemed to have transformed into a huge golden red tiger. The sharp and powerful tiger claws approached the 7 attacking sky-bone demons in the blink of an eye. The tiger roar shocked people. This is also a special way of soul attack. In the tiger roar, the minds of the 7 sky-bone demons were stagnant for a moment. Especially the 4 sky-bone demons whose power was sealed by Chen Ronghuo using the seal page of the ancient book. Seeing Chen Ronghuo clawing out like a demon and rushing to them, they all showed horror on their faces. Before, when Chen Ronghuo killed 2 sky-bone demons in the late 5th stage, they only thought that Chen Ronghuo had the strength of the peak 5th stage because of the distance. But now that they faced Chen Ronghuo head-on, they realized how ridiculous their thoughts were. Chen Ronghuo's cultivation was indeed at the late 5th stage. But his strength had definitely reached the level of half a step to the 6th stage. Especially the means Chen Ronghuo used on them, so that they could not find the root cause even if they wanted to break it. Kill. The 7 sky-bone demons no longer looked down on him. They attacked at the same time, each using their strongest moves, without any reservation, to meet Chen Ronghuo's claw. The flashing sword light, the brilliant knife light, the dark giant tree that struck horizontally, the huge earth yellow head. All kinds of attacks, all in the roar, hit Chen Ronghuo's approaching tiger claw together. Boom! A loud noise was heard, and a colorful mushroom cloud exploded in the space. At the edge of the mushroom cloud, the 7 sky-bone demons flew backwards as if they were hit by a high-speed car. All the various attacks they launched, after hitting Chen Ronghuo's tiger claw, flew away like broken bricks and tiles. Boom! Chen Ronghuo's figure flew out of the colorful mushroom cloud. His clothes were intact. When he appeared in the cloud, he was full of tyranny and domineering momentum. His eyes turned and fell on the several skybone demons who were severely injured in his attack just now. He took a slow and steady step, with a calm demeanor. But his speed was almost at the peak. Swish! The claws broke through the air. His figure was like lightning, catching up with several skybone demons. The second claw, the third claw, the fourth claw. The layers of tiger claws grabbed out with a fascinating momentum. Like mountains of claw shadows covering the sky, pressing down from the sky. Boom boom boom. Puff puff puff. After the 7 skybone demons tried their best to resist for a while, one skybone demon finally lost his strength and was broken by Chen Ronghuo's claw, spilling blood in the sky, and the whole thing became tattered and fell to the ground. After losing one person, the remaining skybone demons were under increased pressure, and 2 more skybone demons followed the previous one. In the distance, Lu Emoning, Jin Qingxian and others were stunned. They were all nervous when they saw 7 skybone demons rushing towards Chen Ronghuo. But they didn't expect that things would turn around in just a moment. 3 of the 7 powerful skybone demons died in just a short while. Even under Chen Ronghuo's deliberate targeting, the 3 skybone demons who died were still the strongest 3 of the 7 skybone demons. At the same time, the remaining 4 skybone demons were also in danger and were about to collapse. They all knew that Chen Ronghuo was able to win the title of the first 4th level disciple of the 5 Sex Alliance in the 5 Directions White Forest, and his strength must be strong. But they never thought that Chen Ronghuo's strength was far beyond his own realm. This kid is evil, let's go together and surround and kill him with all our strength. At this time, the dozen or so skybone demons who were entangled with LV Emoning and others finally reacted. The leader among them, a guy with slightly golden bone spurs, suddenly burst out with all his strength, forced LVMoning and others to retreat, and waved his hand, and was about to take several people to kill Chen Ronghuo. They all saw that if they didn't kill Chen Ronghuo, it was estimated that all of them would die here this time. Surround and kill me. Chen Ronghuo glanced at the leader of the Skybone Demon while waving his claws continuously, and suddenly a sneer appeared on his face. Seal. With a sneer, he used the sealing technique of the ancient book again to seal the remaining 4 Skybone Demons in front of him, who were already seriously injured. As the ancient book sealing technique was performed, the 4 Skybone Demons suddenly stagnated. Huh. The next moment, Chen Ronghuo came close to the 4 people like lightning. Black and red flames came out from under his feet. A huge fire tornado formed, instantly engulfing all 4 people. The flames turned over and burned fiercely, and the sound of a dragon's roar came from inside. It was as if a fire dragon was playing with its prey with its dragon body. After trapping the 4 people in the fire tornado, Chen Ronghuo did not stop at all. He moved and came to LVMoning, Jin Qingxian and others, and came to the leader of the Tiangurenmo who was about to lead people to surround and kill him. I'm here, how are you going to surround and kill me? When Chen Ronghuo blurted out this sentence, he had already sent a sky-high cannon punch to the Tiangurenmo leader with golden bone spurs. Boom! At the same time, the flame tornado that Chen Ronghuo had just cast suddenly exploded. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. After the flame tornado was broken, 4 black and red illusory skulls immediately broke through the air and flew into Chen Ronghuo's body. This is the art of the Calamity Demon Soul. It can transform enemies killed by the Calamity Demon Flame into Calamity Demon Souls. When it is cultivated to a high level, thousands of Calamity Demon Souls will come out with the thought. But Chen Ronghuo has never used this secret art since he practiced it. Burning Bones. Feeling the power of Chen Ronghuo's punch, the leader of the Skybone Demon shouted. In an instant, the golden bones growing outside him suddenly burned out golden flames. The golden flames were like dragon-shaped chains, wrapped around him, and in the blink of an eye, all the flesh and blood on his body were burned, revealing a huge golden and white skeleton. After the skeleton appeared, it seemed to be free from its restraints. With a crackling sound, it instantly grew dozens of times larger. A moment later, a hideous skeleton several tens of meters tall appeared in front of Chen Ronghuo. I want to see how strong you are. After the huge skeleton appeared, it spoke hoarsely. At the same time, he swung his fist to meet Chen Ronghuo's attack. Boom! With a loud bang, Chen Ronghuo and the huge skeleton retreated backwards at the same time. At this moment, the strength of the golden skeleton has reached the level of a weak half-step 6th level cultivator. It is almost the same as Chen Ronghuo's strength when he only activated the power of the law without using the beat of disaster. So you are just like this. After seeing Chen Ronghuo being knocked back by his punch, the leader of the Tiangurenmo who turned into a huge skeleton, the burning golden soul fire in his skull trembled slightly, and sneered. He seemed to be excited that he blocked Chen Ronghuo's attack. Puff puff puff. Suddenly, 4 of the Skybone Demons who were fighting with Lu Emoning, Jin Qingxian, and Li Sandao suddenly stagnated at the critical moment of the battle, as if they were bound by some kind of force. They were unable to dodge and were killed on the spot one after another. The giant bone demon was startled, and then his body trembled slightly. He knew without thinking that the 4 dead Skybone Demons must be related to Chen Ronghuo. In other words, when Chen Ronghuo was fighting with him, he actually used other means to target his accomplices. At this moment, he felt a great insult. But at the same time, the danger level of Chen Ronghuo in his eyes rose again. Boom boom boom. In the distance, the 2 phantom clones created by Wu Piaoyun fought fiercely with the 2 attacking 6th level Skybone Demons. The two 6th-level Skybone demons were angry when they saw Chen Ronghuo kill a large number of their men in succession. They wanted to rush over and kill Chen Ronghuo on the spot, but they were entangled by Wu Piaoun and could not separate. Generally speaking, the strength of a cultivator in the middle stage of the 6th level is slightly stronger than that of two ordinary cultivators in the early stage of the 6th level. But Wu Piaoun is not a real cultivator in the middle stage of the 6th level after all. Moreover, the strength of these two Tiangurenmo is also good among the cultivators in the early stage of the 6th level, so for a while, the three of them fought hard. After Chen Ronghuo made a move in secret and assisted Lu Emoning and others to kill 4 Tiangurenmo, he glanced at Wu Piaoun and then retracted his gaze to their battlefield. At this time, after his arrival, 13 of these Tiangurenmo died in succession, and there were only 11 Tiangurenmo left in the field. Moreover, these 11 Tiangurenmo were all demoralized and had no intention of fighting. Boom! With his spirit burning, Chen Ronghuo adjusted the law of power and the law of blood at the same time, and once again clawed at the leader of the Skybone demon who had turned into a huge skeleton in front of him. Boom boom boom! The Skybone demon leader resolutely met Chen Ronghuo. The two of them exchanged more than a dozen punches in the blink of an eye. During the dozen punches, the Skybone demons who were fighting with LV Emoning and others, even though they were cautious, were still hit by Chen Ronghuo's sealing technique again, and 4 of them died again. Go to hell, die, die. At the same time, when Chen Ronghuo was fighting with the Skybone demon, he began to curse every time he punched. Under the curses again and again, the soul fire in the skull of the Skybone demon leader had quietly spread a layer of grey spiritual light. The deeper the grey spiritual light, the heavier the curse, and the deeper the curse. Gradually, the huge skeleton of the Skybone demon began to become scattered. As Chen Ronghuo punched, he was about to be unable to bear it. Suddenly, after Chen Ronghuo punched more than 20 times in a row, his body shook, and when he punched again, he suddenly mobilized the Calamity Flame. He let the Calamity Flame cover his fist and punched out his peak punch. Boom! With this punch, the leader of the Skybone demon could no longer bear it. When the bone hand he used to resist was broken by Chen Ronghuo, he was hit on the skull by the huge force brought by Chen Ronghuo. Crack, crack, crack. His entire body made of pieces of bones began to crack. Cracks appeared on it. After the cracks cracked to the limit, his body exploded with a bang, turning into countless bone fragments and falling to the ground. Another illusory skull formed and flew into Chen Ronghuo's body. Chen Ronghuo turned around without haste. As he turned around, the last 6 Skybone demons in the distance immediately fell to the lowest point under the effects of his curse technique, soul secret technique, and the ancient book sealing technique. Puff puff puff. Then, in just a moment, these Skybone demons all died on the spot. Junior brother. After all the Skybone demons died, LV Emoning and Jin Qingxian, as well as Pang Yun and Zhang Zhiping, and the 5 people from the Absolute Sword sect, all came over. Their eyes fell on Chen Ronghuo, and the shock left in their eyes could not fade for a long time. Seeing the expressions of several people, Chen Ronghuo turned his head and set his eyes on Zhang Zhiping, saying with a smile on his face, "Sixth senior brother, how is it, I didn't embarrass our master?" When he first joined the Holy Tiger sect, Zhang Zhiping also said not to embarrass Lin Qingtian. At the same time, he also sensed malice from Zhang Zhiping at that time. So he had a deep impression of his 6th senior brother. "I embarrassed the master." Zhang Zhiping smiled bitterly and shook his head. He was pale. He was not scared by Chen Ronghuo's words, but this time, he was the weakest and the most injured. But Chen Ronghuo just said this casually in a joking way. It was just to eliminate the estrangement between him and Lu Emoning, Jin Qingxian and Pang Yun after not seeing each other for a long time. As for what Zhang Zhiping thought, he was in no mood to care. Saving Zhang Zhiping this time was already a favor. He could see that Zhang's hyping no longer had any malice towards him at this time. In addition, when he rushed up, Zhang's hyping also shouted for him to leave, so as long as Zhang's hyping did not provoke him again in the future, he would just forget what happened before. Haha, junior brother, you have surpassed me now, how can you embarrass the master? After Chen Ronghuo's joke, Lu Moning laughed out loud. Just like when he gave Chen Rong the Fire Tiger Blood Golden Pill, he was very good at speaking and had the bearing of a senior brother. But after laughing, he turned his eyes to the distance and fell on Wu Piaoun and the two 6th level Skybone demons. Junior brother, that senior. We just met by chance. Chen Ronghuo shook his head and explained casually, but judging from his appearance, he should be a guest in one of our 5 factions alliance. The speed of communication among the several people was very fast. After all, at this time, the two 6th level Skybone demons were like time bombs to them. They didn't know when they would explode. So, senior brother, senior sister, and a few others, you leave here first. Suddenly, Chen Ronghuo sent a voice message to a few people, I'll try to help that senior and keep one of the two 6th level Tiangu demons. Chen Ronghuo is a very selfish person. He can go all out to save LV Moning and others. But after saving a few people, he didn't want to act with them next. Because the attack on Tiangu territory this time is a great opportunity for him to improve his cultivation. If he is with LV Moning and others, it will definitely slow down his hunting speed. After all, some of his methods cannot be shown in front of a few people now. Junior brother, you must not. Hearing Chen Ronghuo's words, LV Moning hurriedly said, the battle of the 6th level cultivators is definitely not something we can intervene in. I know you are powerful, but you probably don't know the horror of the 6th level cultivators. Buzz. But just after LV Moning finished speaking, the world suddenly shook, and the next moment, the picture in everyone's eyes became a little blurred. Not good, the 5-direction God magic formation is going to fluctuate again. Sensing this scene, LV Moning's face changed, and he hurriedly said, everyone, hold your hands together. Others had experienced this once before, so they hurried forward and held their hands together. When the 5-direction God magic formation was activated, the fluctuations would be slower in the first few times. It would give the people in the formation a chance to hold together. But after a few times, the fluctuations generated by the formation would become faster and faster. At that time, unless someone kept holding hands and hugging each other, no one would be able to hold together in the formation. Junior brother, you. Just after everyone held their hands together, LV Moning suddenly saw that Chen Ronghuo actually took a step back. He did not gather with them. Senior brothers and sisters, see you later. Chen Ronghuo spoke. Kakaka. At this time, the two 6th level Tiangu Renmo in the distance showed a hint of anxiety in their eyes after seeing that the 5-direction God magic formation was about to be activated again. One of the Skybone demons suddenly threw out a white bone chain, wrapping around Wu Piaoun's 2 phantom clones. Snap! The Skybone demon didn't have much hope for this white bone chain. Because he knew that with Wu Piaoun's strength, if he wanted to hide, he would not have much chance of wrapping him up with this chain. But just as he threw out the white bone chain, Wu Piaoun's 2 phantom clones suddenly merged into one, and then stretched out a hand and grabbed the 2 white bone chains thrown out by the Skybone demon. He was dressed in white, raised his head slightly, and revealed his white chin. This time the fight is not enough, you want to continue, I will continue to accompany you. Ha 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 ha, you want to die, we will grant you your wish. Another 6th level Skybone demon saw this scene, laughed loudly, and immediately stepped forward to grab the other end of the bone chain. Swish. The 5-direction God magic formation was completely activated, and the figures of all people disappeared from the formation after a blur. Huh. In a low forest, Chen Ronghuo fell to the ground. Tear. After landing, he didn't even take a look at the surrounding environment. He took out a two-world map and tore it open, and quickly returned to the demon sealing land. The strength of the two 6th level Skybone demons should not be underestimated. With Wu Piao's strength, he may not be able to take them down. But if he is added, the result is uncertain. With the feedback of the breath of the Law of Calamity obtained from the many Skybone demons he just killed, this time he only needs to leave half of the two 6th level Skybone demons, and he will probably be able to advance. Chen Ronghuo is now extremely eager to advance in cultivation. After the advancement, he can probably be comparable to a formal 6th level cultivator with his own strength. By then, he will no longer be a small pawn in the entire battlefield. Wake up, help me locate Wu Piaoun and send me to him. Chen Ronghuo walked out of the space channel, landed on the back of the big river crab, and immediately stomped on the big river crab with his feet. This big guy seemed to be full. This time he came back from the demon sealing land, but he was still sleeping and didn't wake up. Thanks to the book Friend A Game and a Dream 2015 for the 1000 coin reward, Eastern Dragon for the 100 coin reward, and Reading Books Have to Pay for the 100 coin reward. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 380. Wake up, wake up. Chen Ronghuo kicked the big river crab several times on the back, but the big guy didn't wake up. Chen Ronghuo, who realized something was wrong, immediately used an ancient book to perform an identification technique on the big river crab. The giant island river crab of power. Cultivation level, late 5th level. Qualification, 10. Status, due to swallowing a 7th level Earth Star core, he suffered temporary indigestion and fell into a state of lethargy. When his cultivation level breaks through to the 6th level, the lethargy can be relieved. At the same time, under the influence of the Earth Star core, the speed of cultivation progress will be greatly increased. Earth Star core? Chen Ronghuo was startled. Previously, Big River Crab and Fat Cat said that it just dug on the ground and dug out a stone treasure and swallowed it. He didn't pay attention and just thought that Big River Crab was teasing Fat Cat. But I didn't expect that what this guy said was actually true. Moreover, what this guy dug out was not a stone at all, but a 7th order Earth Star core. I wonder to what extent this guy's cultivation will increase after he completely digests the Earth Star core. There was a hint of expectation in Chen Ronghuo's eyes. The big river crab has such a good fortune, he is naturally happy. But now, the top priority for him is to wake up the big river crab and let him send him to the place where the demon is sealed first. As a last resort, he could only communicate with Dahi Crab through the law of contract. Oh, Master, you are back. As the contract law was activated, the big river crab finally woke up and turned around. It has stony eyes, showing a somewhat dazed look under the seafloor plates. I don't know what happened to me, but I fell asleep. You guys seeing the stupid look of the big river crab, Chen Ronghuo said helplessly, if you dig out any treasures in the future, don't eat them with your mouth open. Wait for me to come back first and let me show it to you. This time the big river crab got an Earth Star core, and next time it might be other treasures. Time and time again, Chen Ronghuo has become immune to the luck of the big river crab. He felt that it was really not impossible for Dahi Crab to get some treasures in the future. After hearing Chen Ronghuo's words, Dahi Xie felt his own state and immediately understood what was going on. It hid its head deep into the seabed, revealing a shy expression unique to the river crab beast. Okay, Chen Ronghuo shook his head and got down to business. I need to quickly go to the demon sealing land again. You can help me locate Wu Piaoun, and then teleport me to him. Junior brother. In a dense forest, Lu Moning, Jin Qingxian, and others appeared together. A few people just looked at each other, and when they saw that Chen Ronghuo didn't follow, they all had wry smiles on their faces. Lu Moning took a deep breath and said, "Okay, let's find a secret place to heal as soon as possible. Our little junior brother is lucky and will be fine. Moreover, with the strength of our junior brother, together with us, I am afraid that we can only become a burden to him, but not his protective umbrella." Jin Qingxian also said, "Elder brother is right, our top priority now is to find a place to recover from our injuries as soon as possible." In the previous battle, she was also seriously injured. Just when she said these words, the scene when she took Chen Ronghuo to Beihu Peak flashed through her mind again. At that time, she really never thought that one day her life would be saved by Chen Ronghuo. Moreover, from that day to now, including the time Chen Ronghuo spent in the Holy Tiger sect before going into seclusion, only a dozen years have passed. More than 10 years ago, her cultivation was at the late 5th level. More than 10 years later, her cultivation has not changed at all. But Chen Ronghuo practiced from the early stage of the 4th level to the late 5th level in one breath, like flying, and caught up with her. Especially when she thought about Chen Ronghuo's strength far beyond her own cultivation level, she didn't know what to say. She can become a true disciple of the Holy Tiger sect, and she is also quite famous among them, so her talent is naturally not weak. But compared with Chen Ronghuo, she felt as stupid as a pig. No. They are as stupid as two pigs. How come? Suddenly, after Li Sandeo raised his head, his pupils shrank and his eyes froze. The others were shocked and followed his gaze. Looking at it, they immediately saw Wu Piaoun, who had previously been fighting with the two 6th level sky-bone demons, suddenly appearing there in the sky 1,000 meters away. At the same time, the two 6th level heavenly bone human demons were also there. Is it such a coincidence? Several people looked at each other, a little at a loss. The movement of the 5 directions mystic formation is random. They were able to get together all because they joined hands and took advantage of the bugs in the early stages of the formation. But at this time, after they were moved away from the previous area, they actually encountered Wu Piaoun and the two sky-bone human demons again. This chance could be said to be extremely small. After all, the coverage area of the 5 directions mystic formation is more than 1,000,000 miles wide. Boom boom boom. In the distant sky, 2 heavenly bone human demons moved to a new location with Wu Piaoun. Without any hesitation, they immediately started fighting fiercely again. Wu Piaoun still used the Senluo Wangxiang heavenly technique to create 2 phantom clones and fight against 2 heavenly bone human demons at the same time. "Human, you are at the same level as us, but you can fight against both of us at the same time. Your strength is really good," a Tiangu demon said with a sinister smile while fighting Wu Piaoun, "but I have to say that your brain is not very good. This is the territory of your 5 factions alliance, but the army sent here by our Tiangu territory is far more than the number of disciples of your 5 factions alliance. Do you believe it or not, it won't take long for our Tiangu territory generals to come. Indeed, the probability of your Tiangu territory generals coming here is indeed greater than the probability of our 5 factions alliance's strong men coming here." Wu Piaoun knew that this Tiangu demon was undermining his confidence and looking for his flaws. But he didn't care at all, just asked back lightly, "But what if the strong men of our 5 factions alliance come first? What if the disciples of our 5 factions alliance come first?" Humph. The Tiangu demon saw that Wu Piaoun was not fooled, snorted coldly, stopped talking, and continued to fight with Wu Piaoun with all his strength. When cultivators of level 5 and below fight each other, if one party makes a mistake or is not as strong as the other, the enemy may quickly take it down. However, most cultivators above level 6 do not have too serious flaws. When fighting each other, the time to decide the winner will generally increase. In the later stages, especially in the battles between level 8 and 9 masters, it will be even more difficult to decide life and death. After all, the talents of cultivators who can cultivate to that level are not too bad. What should we do? Lu Moning and others watched the battle from a distance, all of them were extremely hesitant. After level 5, cultivators mainly cultivate the power of laws. The law talisman of the early level 5 cultivator is called the first change law talisman. The middle stage is the second change, the late stage is the third change, and the peak is the fourth change. After the fourth change, there is a fifth change. The cultivator with the fifth change of the law talisman is called a half-step level 6 cultivator. If a half-step 6th level cultivator wants to further improve his cultivation and reach the 6th level, he needs to make the law talisman further transform, that is, to make the law talisman reach the 6th change. The law talisman 6 changes and the law talisman 5 changes are two completely different concepts. Not to mention that the strongest of them is only the 4th change of the law talisman. The battle between 6th level cultivators is definitely not something they can intervene at this level. Let's go, Lu Moning said, we are not qualified to participate in such a battle. Now I just hope that the seniors of our 5 factions alliance can come as soon as possible. Lu Moning was also unwilling. But he knew that he and others had no other choice but to leave. If they rushed into the battlefield of the 6th level cultivators, they would only have one way to die. Just when he was about to leave quickly with a few people to avoid the fight between Wu Piaoun and the 2 6th level Skybone demons from affecting them, his pupils suddenly shrank and he looked at the void above Wu Piaoun's head. Under his gaze, a black and white space crack suddenly appeared in the void. At the same time, Jin Qingxian, Pang Yun, and others also noticed this strange scene. They all clearly remembered that the high-level leaders of the sect said in the square that after the 5-direction God array was opened, even a 6th-level strongman could not open the space here. What's going on? Seeing this crack, the faces of the 2 6th-level Skybone demons who were fighting with Wu Piaoun also changed. They didn't know what happened. Swish. Just when the two were distracted, a figure in a black and red robe suddenly walked out of the space crack. It was Chen Ronghuo who came out. It's you. Seeing Chen Ronghuo, the 2 Skybone demons showed incredible expressions on their faces. Obviously, they didn't expect that it was Chen Ronghuo who came out of the space crack. A 5th-level cultivator can slightly control the power of space. A strong 6th-level cultivator can barely break the space. But in the 5 directions God magic formation, under the influence of the 5 directions God magic formation, almost no one can break the space here. Not to mention space travel. Therefore, after seeing Chen Ronghuo, the 2 Skybone demons were extremely shocked. Junior brother. At the same time, LV Moning, Jin Qingxian, and others who were about to leave, after seeing Chen Ronghuo walk out of the space crack, their expressions froze. Compared with the surprise of the 2 Skybone demons, they were no less surprised. Go all out. After Chen Ronghuo appeared and saw the situation in the field, he immediately spoke to Wu Piaoun. At the same time, he injected all his soul power, along with the energy accumulated in the ancient book, into the ancient book without any reservation. At the same time, he used 2 seal pages to seal the 2 6th-level Tiangu demons. The longer the night, the more dreams there are. If he can't quickly take down the 2 6th-level Tiangu demons, and wait for a long time, if other 6th-level generals from the Tiangu territory come, then his plan this time may fail. Boom. After receiving Chen Ronghuo's order, Wu Piaoun immediately burst out his strength in all directions. The 2 phantom clones he transformed into simultaneously formed a phantom sword and slashed at the 2 Skybone human demons. How come? The 2 Skybone human demons were about to fight back, but suddenly felt that part of their body's strength disappeared at the same time. 6th-level practitioners usually have extremely precise control over their own power. But at this moment, the 2 of them suddenly lost part of their power and could not find any reason. It's you. But because all this happened after Chen Ronghuo appeared, both of them thought of Chen Ronghuo immediately. While using the remaining strength in their bodies, they used moves to resist Wu Piaoyun's attack. While pouring out the soul power, it turned into needle-like spikes and stabbed Chen Ronghuo fiercely. Soul attacks are not exclusive to those who have understood the laws of the soul. Others can also perform soul attacks. It's just that people who understand the laws of the soul have a more profound attainment of the soul. At the same time, because soul attack was the fastest attack method for them at this time, both of them immediately chose to use Soul Thorn on Chen Ronghuo. At this time, the distance between Chen Ronghuo and them was exactly within 15 meters. In other words, their attacks can hit Chen Ronghuo. Since the inexplicable disappearance of the power in their bodies was caused by Chen Ronghuo, then as long as they kill the source, Chen Ronghuo, everything will naturally return to what it was before. Phew. 2 soul thorns flashing with grey aura arrived in front of Chen Ronghuo in the blink of an eye. Not good. Lu Moning and others who saw the scene from a distance changed their expressions instantly when they saw 2 6th-level sky-bone demons attacking Chen Ronghuo. Most soul attacks are invisible. However, some people's soul attacks can also appear due to their cultivation of skills and other reasons. This is obviously the case for the 2 6th-level heavenly bone human demons. At this moment, Lu Moning and others all closed their eyes. Poof. In the blink of an eye, the soul attacks from the 2 6th-level heavenly bone human demons rushed into Chen Ronghuo's soul sea. A mere 5th-level cultivator dares to come and participate in the battle between us. Death will not be a pity. Seeing this scene, the 2 6th-order heavenly bone human demons sneered secretly. Chen Ronghuo had killed so many of their men before, and now the 2 of them had taken revenge by killing Chen Ronghuo. Boom. Boom. But just as they were thinking this, their 2 figures were slashed out by Wu Piaoyun's 2 phantom clones at the same time. Before stopping in mid-air, both of them spit out a mouthful of blood in mid-air and were seriously injured at the same time. Wrong. Suddenly, the pupils of the 2 heavenly bone human demons who were sent flying shrank. The power that had been sealed in their bodies until now has returned. Subconsciously, the 2 of them looked at Chen Ronghuo at the same time. But with this look, they saw that Chen Ronghuo had followed Wu Piaoyun closely and appeared in front of them again. Rather than as they originally thought, after being stabbed by their souls were annihilated and fell from the void. Call out! Call out! At this moment, when their eyes met one of Chen Ronghuo's eyes, they saw that Chen Ronghuo's 2 eyes actually shot out a ray of soul thorn with grey aura. These 2 soul thorns were extremely familiar to them. Because these 2 soul thorns were the same ones they used on Chen Ronghuo before. Swish, brush, brush. At the same time, Wu Piaoyun, who once again bullied them, launched his own sharp attack on them. Countless swords flashed and turned into a sea of knives, drowning them in it in the blink of an eye. The strength of the 2 of them together was originally comparable to Wu Piaoyun, but now that part of the power in their bodies has been sealed, they are no match for Wu Piaoyun. However, the 2 soul attacks they had sent back that Chen Ronghuo sent back did not have much impact on them. Most 6th-level cultivators do not have obvious weaknesses. Such a soul attack is a fatal attack to a 5th-level cultivator, but it is nothing to a 6th-level cultivator. However, after their strength was sealed, they were still seriously injured under Wu Piaoyun's strong attack in a short period of time. I curse you, your souls will perish forever, I curse you, your blood will flow and you will die, I curse you. Chen Ronghuo held the pearl of disaster and cursed the 2 of them. His curse technique can threaten even half-step 6th-level practitioners. Using all his strength, even facing a 6th-level cultivator, he can weaken his combat effectiveness. And a major feature of the curse technique is that the longer it lasts, the more powerful the curse becomes. Chen Ronghuo spat out words one by one, and gradually, a layer of grey aura filled the souls of the 2 of them. Coupled with the effect of the law of tribulation, the resistance of the 2 finally became weaker and weaker. Die. Suddenly, Wu Piaoun's two phantom clones merged, revealing himself. After he appeared, he slashed out with his sword, and the bright sword light spread across the void. In the blink of an eye, he rushed in front of a skybone mandevil. He was caught off guard and cut him in half with his sword on the spot. When a heavenly bone demon died, Chen Ronghuo immediately received endless feedback of the law of calamity from between heaven and earth. Another Tiangu demon saw the scene and his eyes suddenly showed extreme fear. And the look he gave Chen Ronghuo was full of hatred. They had calculated everything, thinking that after moving to a new battlefield, they might attract other strong men from Tiangu territory to kill Wu Piaoun together with them. But they didn't expect that Chen Ronghuo would come first. And the two of them were trapped in a deadly situation because of a fifth-level cultivator like Chen Ronghuo. Puff! Just when his strong resentment was just born, Wu Piaoun chased him with a knife. With a slash of the knife, he was no longer able to resist and was immediately split in half. All the consciousness in his mind was cut off. At this time, LVMO Ning and others in the distance slowly opened their eyes. Thanks to the book friend Bing Yuhuo for the 500 coin reward. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 381. You are looking for death. Suddenly, just as Chen Ronghuo and Wu Piaoun joined forces to kill two 6th-level skybone demons, a figure riding a dark dragon suddenly flew over from a distance. This person stepped on the dragon and was as fast as lightning. In the blink of an eye, he rushed in front of Wu Piaoun and Chen Ronghuo. Before he flew in front of the two, he first glanced at Wu Piaoun, and then fixed his eyes on Chen Ronghuo. This time, I want to see where you run. He showed a grim smile on his face. Lei Zhenfei. Chen Ronghuo looked up and raised his eyebrows. The man riding the dark dragon from a distance was Lei Zhenfei, who had chased him in the valley before. The fat cat lying on Chen Ronghuo's neck, after seeing Lei Zhenfei, his eyes suddenly lit up. No. But when Chen Ronghuo saw Lei Zhenfei, he slowed down and retreated behind Wu Piaoun. Then, without any hesitation, he took out a map of the two realms, tore it open, and walked into the space channel that appeared. He had just fought with the two 6th-level practitioners, and his soul power was too much. Lei Zhenfei, like the two Tiangu Renmo before, was an early 6th-level practitioner. And just because Lei Zhenfei could have the dark dragon as a mount, while the two early 6th-level Tiangu Renmo did not, it could be guessed. Lei Zhenfei's strength was probably stronger than the two Tiangu Renmo. In this case, Chen Ronghuo was definitely not Lei Zhenfei's opponent now. Even with Wu Piaoun's restraint, it would not work. If he faced Lei Zhenfei at this time, he might be killed if he was not careful. Wu Piaoun, restrain Lei Zhenfei for a while. Chen Ronghuo ordered Wu Piaoun. Breakthrough. Chen Ronghuo had a strong idea in his mind. He was not Wu Zhenfei's opponent now, but when he broke through to the peak of the 5th level, the result would be uncertain. Tear the space? When Lei Zhenfei ran over, he recognized Chen Ronghuo at a glance. He recognized that Chen Ronghuo was the man who had killed a large number of his people not long ago, and then escaped from him by unknown means. So when he saw Chen Ronghuo, he showed a vigilant look, in case Chen Ronghuo escaped from him again. But he never thought that the means by which Chen Ronghuo escaped from him was not the invisibility and the secret technique of hiding his breath as he thought at the beginning. It was this method of directly tearing the space and leaving here. People who can leave here at any time and return at any time are simply bug-like existences. Die. He condensed his fist light, with a bloody breath, and punched in the air, and with a boom, he hit Chen Ronghuo. Swish. But his fist light had just been shot, and Wu Piaoun had split into two again. Let the two phantom clones, each holding a phantom knife, block Lei Zhenfei's punch. Boom. The void vibrated, and Lei Zhenfei's punch was blocked by Wu Piaoun. A 6th level cultivator has powerful strength, as vast as the sea. As long as he is not injured and does not crush the opponent in all directions, he can usually maintain a high-intensity continuous battle for a day and a night. Therefore, even though Wu Piaoyun had fought fiercely with the two 6th level cultivators for a long time before, he was not afraid of Lei Zhenfei at this time. Lei Zhenfei's face was gloomy. Under Wu Piaoyun's obstruction, Chen Ronghuo had left the space channel and disappeared from his sight. At the same time, the unique space channel in black and white slowly closed in his eyes. Boom boom boom. Lei Zhenfei's killing intent was boiling. Seeing that he could not kill Chen Ronghuo, he put all his thoughts on Wu Piaoyun. He fought fiercely with Wu Piaoyun. No matter what, Wu Piaoyun is also a 6th level cultivator. Killing Wu Piaoyun is also a great achievement for him. In the distance, LVMoning, Jin Qingxian, and others did not react until then. It only took a blink of an eye from the time Chen Ronghuo appeared to the time he left. In such a short time, Chen Ronghuo and Wu Piaoyun cooperated to kill two 6th level Skybone demons, leaving them all at a loss. In a trance, they all remembered what Chen Ronghuo had said before, asking them to leave and then try to kill two 6th level Skybone demons, leaving only one behind. At that time, they still thought Chen Ronghuo was overestimating himself. But after this incident, they realized that they were just too surprised. While they were shocked, Wu Piaoyun had already split into two clones, and they ran away in a fierce battle with Lei Zhenfei and the Dark Dragon under Lei Zhenfei. Seeing the two leave, Li Sandao couldn't help asking. Brother Lu, what Chen Ronghuo just used was? LVMO Ning thought for a moment and said, I don't recognize the two-color scroll that junior brother Chen used. But I think it should be some kind of one-time treasure that he got by chance. No one asked any more questions after hearing this. They all knew that Chen Ronghuo had many secrets. But no matter what, Chen Ronghuo saved their lives. And now, Chen Ronghuo is obviously in the same group with them. In addition, this is the situation at this time, so they have no reason to question Chen Ronghuo. Let's go and heal the wound as soon as possible. River Crab Leader. Meow. As soon as the fat cat came back, its hair exploded. It jumped off Chen Ronghuo's neck and landed in front of Chen Ronghuo, staring at him fiercely with a pair of eyes. Tick. Just in the fierce gaze, a tear suddenly fell from its eyes. 8 years. It has been trapped at the peak of the 5th level for 8 years. On this day, time and again, it saw opportunities appear, but they slipped away from its eyes, and finally its fragile cat heart could not bear it. Especially thinking of what the big river crab said just now, it swallowed another treasure and was about to break through. It felt even more desperate. Seeing the tears of the fat cat, Chen Ronghuo was stunned for a moment. You guy, you are too impatient. Chen Ronghuo stepped forward and picked up the fat cat without hesitation while he was dodging. If I say I will catch a dragon for you, I will definitely catch one for you, but I have to make sure I can do it first, right? Chen Ronghuo held the fat cat in his arms and scratched its chin, saying, with my current strength, I am still no match for that Tiangu Renmo. If I act immediately, he will be alert, and it will be difficult for him to help you catch a dragon in the future. And if I act now, it will also be very dangerous. Do you want me to get hurt? The fat cat was silent. Of course it didn't want Chen Ronghuo to get hurt. But it was anxious. When has it ever been so cowardly? When it faced the Dragon Shadow and Tiger Shadow in the Tiger Soul Dragon Ball, it was not afraid. But now, it was actually bullied for so long by its former little brother, a big river crab, that it was really anxious and lost its composure. I'm afraid the big river crab itself doesn't know how strong the fat cat's self-esteem is. Wait a little longer, Chen Ronghuo comforted, I will start to break through now. After I break through, I will immediately return to the demon-sealed land to help you catch the demon dragon and eat it. Meow. The fat cat rubbed its head in Chen Ronghuo's arms. After the commotion, it finally began to be timid. Feeling that it had just gone too far, Chen Ronghuo smiled, rubbed the fat cat again, and then without any delay, immediately began to practice in seclusion. This time, he wanted to break through to the peak of the 5th level in one fell swoop. He did not return to the secret room, but practiced on the wall of the river crab territory. The breath of the rolling law of calamity he obtained this time was quickly released by him from the ancient book and poured into his soul sea. Under the transformation of the law of calamity, it all turned into strange energy and nourished his soul. His soul was immersed in these energies, and he felt that all the power of the law he practiced became clear in his eyes. It seemed that the power of the law was peeled off in his eyes, without a trace of cover. It seems that his understanding has become stronger under the nourishment of this energy. Chen Ronghuo had returned to Hexi territory twice before. The first time was when he was avoiding Lei Zhenfei. At that time, he had almost refined the breath of the law of calamity that he had obtained by killing dozens of Tiangu demons in that valley. Therefore, time passed, and only 1 hour later, Chen Ronghuo's eyes flashed. At this time, he had refined all the breath of the law of calamity that he had obtained from all the Tiangu demons he had killed later, except for the 2 6th level Tiangu demons. A 9-color talisman was suspended above Chen Ronghuo's head. The light inside changed, as if it was in the process of transformation. This 9-color talisman was Chen Ronghuo's law talisman in the 3rd stage of transformation. At this time, this talisman was evolving towards the 4th stage. Buzz. Suddenly, more than 10 minutes later, the law talisman suspended above Chen Ronghuo's head vibrated. The color looked much darker. At the same time, this also meant that Chen Ronghuo's law talisman had reached the 4th transformation. That is, his cultivation had broken through to the peak of the 5th level. If the law talisman reached the 5th transformation, it would be half a step to the 6th level. 1. Finally succeeded. Chen Ronghuo stood up from the city wall with a hint of excitement on his face. This time, he practiced only half of the law of tribulation obtained from one of the 2 6th level sky-bone demons he had killed before. Lei Zhenfei. Chen Ronghuo clenched his fists. Now he only had to kill Lei Zhenfei and the dark dragon under Lei Zhenfei's seat, then not only would Fat Cat be able to swallow the dark dragon, but his cultivation would also break through to the middle of the 6th level. He could also use the law of tribulation he had obtained again, and superimpose the remaining law of tribulation on himself, to raise his cultivation to the half-step 6th level in one fell swoop. Wake up! Chen Ronghuo stamped his feet and called out to the big river crab that had fallen asleep again. Boom boom boom. After the 5 directions mystic array activated the teleportation array twice in a row with a short interval, it did not activate the array again for more than an hour. The people in the array were randomly moved to other places. For such a long time, Wu Piaoun and Lei Zhenfei had been fighting all the way and had crossed tens of thousands of miles in the array. If it weren't for the special effect of the 5 directions mystic array, I'm afraid this land would have been beaten to pieces by the two. At the same time, the two continued to fight fiercely, and gradually attracted the attention of the 5 Directions Alliance and other 6th-level masters of the Tiangu territory. At the beginning, a 6th-level cultivator from the 5 Directions Alliance came first. After this 6th-level cultivator joined the battlefield, Lei Zhenfei was immediately suppressed and at a disadvantage. But the good times didn't last long. Not long after, another mid-6th level heavenly bone demon appeared on the battlefield. Then the strong men from the 5-party alliance took action. Time and time again, the number of strong men participating in this battle from both sides finally reached more than a dozen. In the middle of the journey, 3 6th-level experts from the 5-party alliance died. However, these 3 6th-level experts from the 5-party alliance died, and they also replaced 2 6th-level Skybone humans and demons in the Skybone territory. As the fierce battle lasted longer and longer, Wu Piaoun finally began to lose strength. At this time, in addition to Wu Piaoun, the Dark Demon Dragon under Wu Piaoun and a 6th level Heavenly Bone Human Demon also launched a siege against Wu Piaoun. Wu Piaoun used the Senluo Wangxiang Heavenly Technique to divide his body into 3 parts and create 3 phantom clones. But his 3 phantom clones were all at a disadvantage and could only barely hold on. Die! Lei Zhenfei roared angrily, and finally caught the flaw in Wu Piaoun's phantom clone in the continuous attack, and broke it with one palm. Each phantom clone is a collection of Wu Piaoun's own power. At this time, one of his bodies died, but his other 2 phantom clones were not affected. But it was absolutely impossible for him to create another phantom clone with comparable strength in a short period of time. After Lei Zhenfei killed one of Wu Piaoun's phantom clones, he immediately changed direction and rushed towards Wu Piaoun's second phantom clone without any hesitation. Wu Piaoun narrowed his eyes. I wonder if I can escape if I take out the map of the 2 realms at this time. At this time, not only him, but also several strong men from the 5 faction alliances around him were in crisis. It's not that the strong ones in the 5 factions alliance are not strong. It was the 6th order Heavenly Bones human demons from the Heavenly Bones territory who suppressed them in numbers. Click. Suddenly, just when Wu Piaoun and the strong men in the Tiangu territory were in a critical situation, a black and white crack suddenly opened in the sky at the edge of the battlefield. As the crack opened, Chen Ronghuo's figure walked out of it. As soon as he appeared, Chen Ronghuo took in the situation on the battlefield. Many. Chen Ronghuo's eyes lit up. At this time, there were more than 20 powerful men from the 5 factions alliance and Tiangu territory combined. It is definitely rare to see more than 26th level experts fighting together. Chen Ronghuo scanned the area and even found a late 6th level cultivator among them. The difference in small realm between 6th level cultivators is not too big. A mid 6th level cultivator can fight 2 early stage cultivators, a late 6th level cultivator can fight 2 mid level cultivators, and a peak level cultivator can fight 2 late stage cultivators. At this time, Chen Ronghuo's cultivation had just reached the peak of the 5th level, and his true strength was only around the early 6th level. Once he encountered a late 6th level Skybone human demon, he would definitely not be able to hold on for long and would be defeated. But he also knew that once he could profit from this battle, his gains would be absolutely unimaginable. First kill Lei Zhenfei's Dark Demon Dragon. After a while, Chen Ronghuo set his goal. Shamao's cultivation level has actually been able to break through a long time ago. It's just because it eats too much, leading to malnutrition, that it hasn't been able to break through to the 6th level for so long. According to his calculation, as long as the fat cat uses its own innate ability to swallow a 6th level demon with dragon attributes, it will be able to break through immediately without spending any time. It is difficult for him alone to decide the situation of the entire battlefield. But if Shamao breaks through to the mid-6th level in one fell swoop, then this time, he will definitely be able to leave a profound lesson to the dozen or so 6th level Heavenly Bone human demons in front of him. Thanks to Twilight Melody for the 500 coin reward landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Dupang. Chapter 382. Chen Ronghuo emerged from the space crack, immediately attracting the attention of all the practitioners present. A group of people looked at him, and they all felt incredible. I don't know how he tore the space crack to appear. Especially those strong men from the 5-sex alliance. Chen Ronghuo once won the title of the first 4th level disciple of the 5-sex alliance in Wuifangbilan, and coupled with the fact that he awakened the blood of the Holy Tiger, almost no one in the 5-sex alliance didn't know him. It was just because the battle was fierce at this time, no one had the mind to ask him how he tore the space to appear here. Chen Ronghuo, go! A figure holding a blood-colored sword roared at Chen Ronghuo. This person was Che Tianxing, the leader of the Blood Tiger Peak, the only 6th level late-stage practitioner in the field. When Chen Ronghuo went to Wuifangbilan, Che Kai Upping, who initially pursued Lu Su but eventually ended up with nothing, was his son. At this time, he was fighting fiercely with the 6th level late-stage Tiangu demon in Tiangu territory. Seeing Chen Ronghuo, he immediately recognized Chen Ronghuo. He was also curious about how Chen Ronghuo tore the space. But the current situation in the field was not good for the Holy Tiger section. Once the people from the Tiangu territory were separated, Chen Ronghuo's realm would only lead to death. Go, where to go? Lei Zhenfei, who had just dealt with Wu Piaoyun's phantom clone, saw that Chen Ronghuo had come back again, and his face was full of anger. He stepped in the air and gave up Wu Piaoyun. Like thunder, he came to Chen Ronghuo in the blink of an eye. Chen Ronghuo had escaped from him twice in a row. He would never allow Chen Ronghuo to escape from him for the third time. Boom! Lei Zhenfei stretched out his big hand from a distance and rushed to Chen Ronghuo to grab it. A grey-white aura filled the palm of his hand, like a strange dark cloud, condensing out. In the distance, Che Tianxing, who was watching Chen Ronghuo, had a ferocious look on his face. He slashed out a bloody sword light, and slashed the 6th stage late-stage Tiangu demon who was fighting with him. Roar! But just as the Tiangu demon retreated, a huge dragon spewed out a large piece of black flames and enveloped him. This dragon was the mount of the 6th stage late-stage Tiangu demon, and had the cultivation of the 6th stage middle stage. In terms of real strength, he could actually suppress the 6th stage late-stage Tiangu demon. But because of this dragon, the two fought for a long time, but still could not decide the winner. Che Tianxing turned his sword light and faced the dragon. As for Chen Ronghuo, he could no longer help. The other people in the 5 factions alliance were at a disadvantage and were even more helpless. Che Tianxing. The 6th rank Skybone demon shouted, "You are quite strong, it would be a pity to die. I advise you to surrender. Our Skybone territory is in need of people. Our Lord said before we came. If you are a cultivator of the late 6th rank or above in your 5 factions alliance and are willing to surrender, you only need to kill any 6th rank strongman in your 5 factions alliance, and our Lord can help you transform your body. We will baptize you into the same Skybone clan as us." Wishful thinking. Che Tianxing snorted coldly, and the knife light in his hand slashed out continuously, like a blood-colored wave rushing. At the same time, when each blood-colored wave was rushing, there would be a blood-colored tiger accompanying it. Okay, since you are stubborn, I will let all of you die here today. Under Che Tianxing's full strength burst, the 6th stage late-stage Tiangu Renmo felt the pressure. After saying a harsh word, he stopped talking and began to defend against Che Tianxing's terrifying attack. Even with the help of a 6th stage mid-stage demon dragon, his strength was only similar to Che Tianxing. But it's almost there. He swept across the field with anticipation in his eyes. At this time, the people of the 5 factions alliance had all fallen into a disadvantage due to insufficient numbers. As long as 1 or 2 Tiangu Renmos took down their opponents and came to help him, he would have the hope of keeping Che Tianxing here. Killing a 6th stage late stage strongman is completely comparable to killing 4 or 5 6th stage early stage practitioners. Awesome speed. At this time, Lei Zhenfei, who stretched out his big hand to grab Chen Ronghuo, suddenly found that Chen Ronghuo was retreating backwards at a speed beyond his imagination under his pursuit. His claw, which was determined to hit, was twisted out of the 5 directions mystical array because it was 15 meters away, and it actually missed. Boom! As a last resort, he could only speed up and reach out another claw at Chen Ronghuo. But when he stretched out his claw, Chen Ronghuo also accelerated and dodged his claw again. How is it possible? Lei Zhenfei felt incredible. Chen Ronghuo's speed was almost catching up with the 6th level cultivator. And peak of the 5th level. He was in the late 5th level before, after leaving once, he actually broke through a realm. This kid must not be left alive. Lei Zhenfei's eyes were boiling with murderous intent. He began to burst out with all his strength, like a bone eagle in the sky, desperately chasing Chen Ronghuo. As his claws burst out, Chen Ronghuo quickly dodged, and the two began to get farther and farther away from the core of the battlefield. In the distance, Che Tianxing and others were stunned. I don't know how Chen Ronghuo, a 5th-level cultivator, could hold on for so long under the pursuit of Lei Zhenfei. It should be okay. Suddenly, when Chen Ronghuo and Lei Zhenfei were more than 1,000 meters away from the battlefield, they were about to lose sight of the battlefield in the distance because of the effect of the 5-direction mystery array. Chen Ronghuo's eyes flashed, and he injected his soul power into the ancient book. He simultaneously used the ancient book sealing technique on the 6th-level early dark dragon that was fighting Wu Piaoun in the distance, and another sky-bone demon that was fighting Wu Piaoun. The ancient book sealing technique was completely unaffected by the 5-direction mystery array. In fact, the energy that Chen Ronghuo had accumulated in the ancient book before had been consumed when dealing with the two 6th-level cultivators. But as his cultivation broke through to the peak of the 5th level, he injected his soul power into the ancient book, which could also have a certain impact on the 6th-level cultivators. What's going on? The other skybone demon who was fighting fiercely with Wu Piaoun, and the 6th-level dark dragon, all froze in the void after Chen Ronghuo performed the ancient book sealing technique. Feeling that part of his power disappeared for some reason. And just when they were stunned and at a loss, Wu Piaoun, who had cooperated with Chen Ronghuo once, immediately seized the opportunity and directly merged the two phantom clones into one, revealing his true body. Die. The next moment, he held the knife in both hands, jumped up from the void, and appeared directly on the head of the dark dragon. According to Chen Ronghuo's instructions, his biggest goal of this trip was only one. That was the dark dragon in front of him. Roar. The dark dragon saw this scene, and the dragon's face suddenly changed. It roared, and a large amount of black smoke rushed out of its body. Then the dragon seemed to be performing some kind of escape technique to escape with the help of these black smoke. Seal. But just as it moved, Chen Ronghuo, who was far away, glanced at it and immediately used the 3rd seal page of the ancient book to seal part of the large black smoke it created. The dark dragon swung its tail and fell into the black smoke. But then, it found that its head was left outside and could not go in. Not good. Lei Zhenfei, who was chasing Chen Ronghuo, changed his face. But he was led out more than 1,000 meters by Chen Ronghuo at this time, and there was no time to save the dark dragon. Swish. Wu Piaoun cut it down with a knife. The sharp knife light directly cut the huge dragon head of the dark dragon from the air. This knife was a knife that stimulated his potential. After the knife, his body will fall into a weak state in a breath. A breath is not long, but in a duel between masters, a breath may determine life and death. However, Lei Zhenfei was led away by Chen Ronghuo at this time. With Chen Ronghuo restraining him, Wu Piaoun only needed to deal with a Tiangurenmo of the same level as him, and he could survive this breath. And using the weakness of a breath to exchange for the death of the dark dragon, for him, it felt like a big win. Boom. When the head of the dark dragon was cut off by Wu Piaoun, facing Lei Zhenfei's pursuit, Chen Ronghuo, who had been avoiding a head-on collision, suddenly took a step forward. He simultaneously condensed the law of force, the law of immortality, and the law of blood. Gathering the power of the 3 laws into one body, he punched forward with a bang. With a loud bang, Chen Ronghuo retreated several steps backward. But Lei Zhenfei's body also shook slightly. Go. When Lei Zhenfei's body shook slightly, Chen Ronghuo had an idea, and suddenly reached out to grab the fat cat lying on his neck, who had been impatient for a long time, and threw it out with force. The speed of the fat cat, combined with the speed of Chen Ronghuo's throw, made it arrive in front of the dark dragon that was killed by Wu Piaoun in the blink of an eye. At this time, the head of the dark dragon that was cut off by Wu Piaoyun had not yet fallen to the ground. Meow. The fat cat shouted excitedly before it arrived at the dead dark dragon. Then it opened its mouth and swallowed the dragon body of the dark dragon that was hundreds of meters long. Huh! A vortex formed in the fat cat's mouth. The huge dragon body and the head of the dark dragon that was about to fall to the ground paused in the void after the vortex in the fat cat's mouth formed. Immediately, both of them quickly became extremely small, and after a flash, they rushed into the fat cat's mouth. This 6th level dark dragon had just entered the fat cat's stomach. Due to malnutrition, the power of the tiger attributed demon accumulated in its stomach. And under the effect of its own innate ability, it quickly reacted with the dragon body of the dark dragon that had also entered its stomach. Success. Chen Ronghuo finally breathed a sigh of relief after seeing Fat Cat swallow the 6th level dark dragon completely. The prerequisite for whether his harvest this time can be huge is whether Fat Cat can swallow the dark dragon. And now, this prerequisite has been achieved. Thanks to the book friend Kong's Haimo for the 3000 coins reward. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chao Ji Dupang. Chapter 383. In the sky, black clouds of fear surged. Wrapped a purple bead like the sun in it. From a distance, this purple bead is not big. But few people know that there is a huge space inside this bead. At this time, all the 7th level and above masters of the 5-sex alliance are in the space inside this purple bead. These people add up to a total of 26. Among them, there are 18 7th level masters. 8 8th level masters. And this is the most powerful foundation of the 5-sex alliance. Among them, the sect master of the Holy Tiger sect, the 3 elders Wu Tianchuo, Yan Xiaobo, and Shen Hongtian are all among them. Holy Tiger, can you see how this disciple of your Holy Tiger sect travels back and forth between the continent of gods and the land of demon sealing? Among the 8 8th level masters, the King Mu Holy Thunder Beast of the King Glay sect, who transformed into a human form like the Holy Tiger and had a purple pattern on his forehead, asked the Holy Tiger curiously. Because of the interference of the infinite cloud of fear surrounding the God-confusing pearl, they were inside the God-confusing pearl and could only use all their strength to activate the God-confusing pearl and set up the 5-sided God-confusing formation to preserve a trace of fire for the 5-faction alliance. Apart from this, they had no way to personally take action to deal with the army of the Tiangu territory in the formation. Shengu shook his head. The black and white scroll in his hand should be some kind of one-time secret treasure that can travel between 2 places. I just don't know how many of these scrolls he has. It's useless no matter how many there are. The 8th level strongman Huan Zhen, who was previously in charge of the 5 Directions White Forest, shook his head and said, "This boy's talent is extremely terrifying. I think his cultivation should only be at the peak of the 5th level. I am also amazed that he can fight with a cultivator at the early stage of the 6th level. But judging from his appearance, he should not intend to give the 2-color scroll in his hand to other people in our 5-sex alliance. In this way, no matter how strong his talent is, even if he can withdraw from the battlefield at any time and return with him, with his current strength, it is difficult to reverse this war." Hearing the analysis of Huan Zhen, the others nodded slightly. Knowing that his analysis is very reasonable. The early stage of the 6th level is not weak. But this level cannot reverse the situation of this war. Now they can only wait. Wait for other powerful forces in the Shenyang territory to suppress the momentum of the Tiangu territory. At this time, not only their 5-faction alliance was fighting with Tiangu territory. All the major forces in the entire Shenyang territory were targeting Tiangu territory and its helpers. So they set up the 5-sided God-confusing array with all their strength this time, just to delay time. Delay until Tiangu territory can no longer hold on under the pressure of other forces. What a pity. Suddenly, the blue-eyed holy thunder beast shook his head. If Chen Ronghuo's strength could reach the middle stage of the Sixth Order, then we wouldn't be so passive in this war. In his opinion, if Chen Ronghuo had the strength of the middle stage of the Sixth Order, then with Chen Ronghuo's mobility, maybe this war could really cause many changes. Hearing the words of the blue-eyed holy thunder beast, the others all shook their heads. If Chen Ronghuo really had the strength of the middle stage of the Sixth Order, then the result would naturally be different. But there is no if in this world. Thinking of this, they raised their heads at the same time, through the God-confusing pearl, and looked at the rolling black cloud wrapped in the God-confusing pearl. Through the rolling black clouds, everyone could see a blood-stained black giant bell, looming in the black clouds in the distance. This blood-stained black giant bell is the Fear Bell, a divine weapon of the same level as the God-enchanting pearl. And the strong man who activated the Fear Bell is the strongest man in the army of Tiangu territory this time. He had announced his name when he came. He said that he was the senior god envoy of the temple of the fallen Yeluditian. Suddenly, the corner of the blue-eyed holy thunder beast's eyes fell on the fat cat through the god-enchanting pearl. His eyes condensed. It seems something is wrong. Boom. At this time, in the five-sided god-enchanting formation, the fat cat swallowed the corpse of the dark dragon into its stomach. In just a moment, a circle of terrifying breath burst out from its body. Its body, which was originally round and the size of a normal cat, but a little fat, seemed to be blown up by a powerful air pump, and it suddenly expanded hundreds of times. A faint king pattern emerged from its forehead. Intermediate level 6. In just a moment, it broke through the barrier of half a step to level 6 from the peak of level 5, and officially advanced to become a level 6 life. Even once it broke through, its level reached the intermediate level 6. The change of Fat Cat attracted everyone's attention at once. As soon as the dark dragon died, the Skybone demon that had besieged Wu Piaoun with Lei Zhenfei before suddenly became alone, facing Wu Piaoun and Fat Cat. Roar! The surging power surged in the body like a flood. Fat Cat waved his claws, and suddenly there was a sense of fullness that could not be described in words, lingering in his heart. It roared. It had been suppressed for too long, and today it could finally explode. After swallowing the dark dragon, the combat experience from the dark dragon and the combat experience of the level 6 tiger it had swallowed before were all instilled into its heart. In just a moment, it achieved perfect control over its own body. Roar! It rushed forward, and a huge tiger roar attacked the 6th level Skybone demon. In the rumbling tiger roar, the body of the Skybone demon suddenly stagnated slightly. This is the tiger roar heavenly sound. The innate ability that Fat Cat obtained after devouring the 6th level tiger. After using it, it can shock the enemy's soul, weaken the enemy's strength, and slow down the enemy's reaction. Of course, this is when targeting a strong person of the same level. If this move is used on a cultivator who is too weak, a roar can even directly roar the person to death. After sending out the tiger roar heavenly sound and shocking the 6th level Skybone demon, Fat Cat swung his tail and actually spread out a large amount of black smoke. The next moment, the black smoke turned into wind, wrapping Fat Cat in it, as if surrounded by layers of shadows, making it appear in front of the Skybone demon in the blink of an eye. This move is called Shadow Smoke Escape. It was just what Fat Cat had just obtained from the Dark Dragon. Appearing in front of the Skybone demon, Fat Cat swung his claws, and the claws surrounded by terrifying sharp winds were like a knife that could cut through the sky and the earth. With a swish, he slashed at the Skybone demon. The Skybone demon showed a look of horror on his face and quickly dodged backwards, not daring to take Fat Cat's move. Although Fat Cat had just broken through to the middle stage of the 6th level, with its powerful talent, even ordinary 6th level late stage practitioners might not be its opponents. Not to mention a 6th level early stage Skybone demon. Swish swish swish. The Skybone demon retreated violently, and Fat Cat followed closely, with claws breaking through the air, continuously, and in the blink of an eye, he didn't know how many claws he had swung. At the same time, Wu Piaoun, who had just consumed his potential to kill the dark dragon with a knife, also recovered at this time. He ran from the other side, with the knife light in his hand like the sea, crushing and covering. Puff! Just a breath later, the Skybone demon, who had been happily besieging Wu Piaoun with Lei Zhenfei, was cut into countless pieces by Wu Piaoun's sword light and Fat Cat's claws. He didn't even have time to scream. How could it be? In the distance, Lei Zhenfei, who witnessed this scene, had a sudden change of expression. But Fat Cat and Wu Piaoun did not stop at all after killing the Skybone demon. They turned their eyes and fell on him. A distance of more than 1,000 meters was quickly crossed. Fat Cat and Wu Piaoun each left a residual image and attacked from a distance. Lei Zhenfei was awed in his heart, knowing that if Fat Cat and Wu Piaoun caught up with him, he would definitely die. With one step, he was about to flee to the distance. Escape? Where are you going to escape to? Chen Ronghuo sneered and returned what Lei Zhenfei had said to him before to Lei Zhenfei. He opened his mouth and spit out black and red flames like a flood. The rolling flames soon gathered to form a huge black and red monster with 9 heads and 1,000 hands. This monster was formed by Chen Ronghuo using the technique of disaster incarnation. The 1,000 big hands of the disaster incarnation, carrying endless natural disaster flames and the aura of disaster, fell towards Lei Zhenfei, blocking his way. Lei Zhenfei looked ugly. The aura of this disaster incarnation was not particularly strong. If he forced his way in, he would naturally be able to get through. But his goal at this time was to escape from here, not to stay and fight this thing head-on. As a last resort, he could only turn around and run in another direction. Roar! The sound of thunder roared. Fat Cat finally used the wind escape technique and rushed over. At the same time, Wu Piaoun also rushed over from another direction, swinging thousands of swords and slashing the sky and the earth. Get out of here! Lei Zhenfei shouted. Despair surged in his heart, but he still attacked unwillingly, his fists like drums, and he turned around and hit Chen Ronghuo continuously. Boom boom boom. Chen Ronghuo was not cowardly, and the 3 laws that could increase power came out at the same time, fighting with the already crazy Lei Zhenfei. He secretly mobilized the power of the disaster bead, and at the same time used the soul law, the law of calamity, the law of curse, etc. At this time, his strength was already full. When his strength was fully activated, he alone could suppress Lei Zhenfei faintly. But at this time, he was the weakest one among the people besieging Lei Zhenfei. Whether it was Fat Cat or Wu Piaoun, they were much stronger than him at this time. Especially Fat Cat, even one could beat 4 or 5 of him now. And Lei Zhenfei, who was weaker than Chen Ronghuo, was seriously injured in just one breath under the siege of the 3 of them, and his blood dyed the sky red. Die! Suddenly, Chen Ronghuo punched out. A punch burning with the flames of the natural disaster demon came from the side of Lei Zhenfei and blew him up. As soon as Lei Zhenfei died, a black and red illusory skull flew out from the swirling flames and rushed into Chen Ronghuo's body. At the same time, a large amount of breath of the law of calamity also surged in. Half a step to the 6th level. Chen Ronghuo's eyes flashed. Even if the previous accumulation is not counted, after this battle, he can break through to the half-step 6th level. However, the half-step 6th level is still a little low. I don't know if I can get enough breath of the law of calamity to break through to the 6th level. When all the flames returned to Chen Ronghuo's body, Chen Ronghuo immediately aimed his eyes at the other heavenly bones and demons in the field. At this time, Cai Tianxing, the late 6th level cultivator who was fighting against Cai Tianxing, and everyone in the field, all set their eyes on Chen Ronghuo. From Chen Ronghuo's explosion, to Wu Piaoun's killing of the Dark Dragon, to Fat Cat's swallowing of the Dark Dragon, his strength surged, and he killed Lei Zhenfei and another Tiangu demon in succession. It was just a matter of a moment. Before this, all the practitioners of the Five-Sex Alliance in the field were in despair. But they didn't expect that things would turn around so quickly. 3 early 6th Order combatants died in Tiangu territory. The Five-Sex Alliance gained an early 6th Order combatant, plus a mid-level 6th Order combatant, and a late-level 6th Order combatant. This is definitely a big reversal. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. After killing Lei Zhenfei, Chen Ronghuo didn't stop at all. He took Fat Cat and Wu Piaoun directly, turned into a stream of light, and ran straight to Che Tianxing, where the battle was the most intense. Che Tianxing's eyes lit up, and his offensive was strengthened again, not letting the 6th Order Tiangu demon who was fighting against him have a chance to escape. Chen Ronghuo. The 6th stage Tiangu demon who was fighting fiercely with Che Tianxing saw Chen Ronghuo rushing with Fat Cat and Wu Piaoun, and his expression immediately changed. He and his Mount Black Flame Dragon joined forces to barely fight against Che Tianxing. Once Chen Ronghuo and others arrived, he was afraid that he would be in danger of death this time. He suddenly turned his head and shouted at Chen Ronghuo. The gap between your 5 factions alliance and our Tiangu territory is too big. In this war, only our Tiangu territory can win in the end. You are quite strong. If you are willing to surrender, I can ask our Lord to spare your life after returning to Tiangu territory. I can even let you be like us and transform into a Tiangu clan like us. But if you are stubborn, you will only die in the end. In this world, the strong are respected. For the sake of strength, changing race is nothing. Adding the threat of death, this 6th stage Tiangu demon thought that Chen Ronghuo might think about it carefully after hearing his words. But when he shouted this, a sneer flashed in the depths of his eyes. Before the strong men of Tiangu territory attacked the 5 factions alliance, His Highness Suiyu had ordered that if they met Chen Ronghuo, they should kill him without mercy. So what he said just now was just to deceive Chen Ronghuo. Che Tianxing, who was fighting fiercely with him, heard this and glanced at Chen Ronghuo with the corner of his eye, fearing that Chen Ronghuo would be deceived. At this time, Chen Ronghuo had rushed to the 15-meter range of the 6th level late Tiangu demon. The strong men in this world all make their words come out several times or even dozens of times faster than their attack moves. When Chen Ronghuo heard the words of the 6th level late Tiangu demon, a sneer appeared on his face. I have killed 3 of you 6th level strong men, will you still accept my surrender? If you can kill them, they are trash. Our Tiangu territory pursues the law of the jungle. The 3 of them were killed by you, and they can only blame their lack of strength. This late stage 6th level Tiangu demon was full of nonsense, intending to do everything he could to stabilize Chen Ronghuo. If I kill you, you are trash. Then if I kill you, are you also trash? Chen Ronghuo held the orb of disaster in his hand, and his eyes turned to look at the 6th level middle stage demon dragon that was hundreds of meters in size and could spit black flames with the 6th level Tiangu demon. He turned his head again, with a sneer on his face. Then, if I kill you and then surrender, will you accept me in your Tiangu territory? You. The Tiangu demon was furious with Chen Ronghuo, and he didn't know that Chen Ronghuo was playing a trick on him. He looked around. He wanted to see if there were any other 6th level fellows coming, but found that there was nothing around. Meow. At this moment, the fat cat suddenly made a strange cat cry. Then its pair of black eyes fell on the black flame dragon of the 6th middle stage. Hearing the fat cat's cry, the black flame dragon trembled all over, and its strength almost dropped by half a level in an instant. Fat Cat is born with a strong restraint ability when facing dragon and tiger monsters. This dragon is naturally within his control. Damn, what kind of cat is this? The black flame dragon showed fear in its eyes. Its dragon tail swung quickly, stretched in front of it, and set up a high-speed moving fan-shaped barrier. So powerful. The fat cat felt the power of this black flame dragon, and the excitement in his eyes became more intense. For it, the stronger it is, the more delicious it is. Woo! Saliva flowed out, and the fat cat opened his mouth. It was getting bigger and bigger. It was as if a bottomless black hole had been opened in the sky. A terrifying suction force came from the black hole. The black flame dragon, whose strength had already dropped by half a level, became much smaller under this strange suction force. At the same time, it moved passively towards the fat cat's open mouth without control. The black flame dragon struggled unwillingly. Give up, sink, there is no heaven in your dragon life, abandon everything, sink into hell, you will no longer have any constraints, and gain true freedom. Chen Ronghuo's faint voice sounded from the black flame dragon's ears. On the side, the sixth stage late stage Tiangurenmo had a gloomy face. He wanted to help, but was stopped by Che Tianxing. Swish. At this time, when the black flame dragon's strength was greatly reduced and it was restrained by Fat Cat and Chen Ronghuo, Wu Piaoun used the sword as his body and broke through the barrier set by the black flame dragon. He raised his hand, and thousands of sword lights appeared on the top of the black flame dragon's head. Suddenly, the sword light was restrained. Puff! The sword light cut into the black flame dragon's neck. It directly cut off half of its neck with a diameter of more than 20 meters. Woo! The dragon blood splashed, and the black flame dragon's eyes showed endless despair. Sink, the gods will also fall one day, no one can survive, death is the final destination of everyone, only sooner or later. At this moment, the words that Chen Ronghuo transmitted to its ears seemed to become clearer. It closed its eyes and finally gave up struggling. Meow. Seeing that the black flame dragon gave up struggling, Fat Cat swallowed its huge dragon body into his stomach. Burp. After eating another dragon, the Fat Cat burped, stood up, patted his belly, and showed a satisfied look. It had been a long time since he had eaten so much. The Fat Cat turned his head and set his eyes on the 6th level late stage Skybone demon. Roar! The tiger roared and thundered. It was not a bad cat that only knew how to eat but not work. Immediately after the tiger roared and thundered, its figure immediately turned into a phantom and pounced on the 6th level late stage Skybone demon. Wu Piaoun and Chen Ronghuo also acted at the same time. Together with Che Tianxing, the number of cultivators besieging the 6th level Skybone demon instantly reached 4. Among them, Che Tianxing's strength was stronger than his. The fat cat's strength was not weaker than his. With the assistance of Chen Ronghuo and Wu Piaoun, the 6th level late stage Skybone demon fell into a life and death crisis in the blink of an eye. In just a few breaths, he was pierced through the chest by the fat cat's claws amid a roar of unwillingness and despair, and fell from the sky. A 6th stage late stage heavenly bone demon died under the claws of the fat cat. Although Che Tianxing assisted him, there was still a rolling breath of the law of calamity that poured into Chen Ronghuo's body. 6th stage. Chen Ronghuo's eyes brightened as he felt a large amount of breath of the law of calamity pouring in. After killing the 6th stage late stage heavenly bone demon, he obtained the breath of the law of calamity, and superimposed his previous accumulation. He can completely break through to the 6th stage after breaking through to the half-step 6th stage, and officially become a 6th stage cultivator. There will even be some left. But people are greedy. Chen Ronghuo turned his head and set his eyes on the other heavenly bone demons in the field. At this time, there were still 2 6th stage mid-stage heavenly bone demons and 7 6th stage early stage heavenly bone demons left in the field. Kill. With a thought, Chen Ronghuo took Fat Cat and Wu Piaoun and joined the battlefield again. However, Chen Ronghuo did not see that just as he was moving around in the battlefield and turning the battle around, the rolling black cloud wrapped in the magic bead in the sky suddenly separated. The separated wisp faintly condensed into a huge sharp claw, which silently enveloped him. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji De Peng. Chapter 384. The 6th level Skybone demon died, and the other Skybone demons immediately fled madly. But how could the cultivators of the 5-sex alliance, who had been suppressed before, let them escape easily? They used all their strength to contain these Skybone demons and wanted to keep them here. Boom boom boom. The sounds of fighting came one after another. After Chen Ronghuo, Fat Cat, Wu Piaoun, and Che Tianxing joined the battle, several Skybone demons died soon. Among them, there were 2 Skybone demons killed by Chen Ronghuo, Fat Cat, and Wu Piaoun. Just a little bit more. Chen Ronghuo's heart was burning. This battle was definitely a big gain for him. Now he was just a little bit away from obtaining the breath of the law of catastrophe, which would allow him to break through to the middle stage of the 6th level in one go. In the God-confusing Pearl, the Holy Tiger, the blue-eyed Holy Thunder Beast, and the Huanzhen Master, all set their eyes on Chen Ronghuo and Fat Cat. This kid's cat has actually broken through to the middle stage of the 6th order. It was not until then that they reacted. The scene just now changed too quickly. Before this, they thought that Chen Ronghuo's cultivation was a little weak. Even if he could get out of the 5 directions God formation at any time and return at any time, it would be difficult to play a role in turning the tide of the entire war. But now, with the Fat Cat's cultivation breaking through to the middle stage of the 6th order, it is completely different. This cat is so powerful. Among the crowd, Wu Tianchuo, the great elder of the Holy Tiger sect, was obviously the most surprised. It seems that giving it the 6th order tiger before was really the right thing to do. Everyone, keep an eye on it. Suddenly, the Holy Tiger said, once we are in the upper hand, the guy on the opposite side may be desperate and use tricks. Now Chen Ronghuo is the hope of our 5-sex alliance, and he must not be lost. That's right. The green-eyed Holy Thunder Beast also nodded. A group of people put their hopes on Chen Ronghuo. Not good. Just when they had just had hope, Master Huanzhen's pupils shrank, and he immediately increased the power to activate the bewitching God Pearl. A dark hand suddenly emerged from the rolling dark clouds in the sky, and 6 sharp fingers emerged, grabbing Chen Ronghuo and others from a distance below. At the same time, a young man in a black-edged robe stood quietly in the inner space of the fear bell, with vicissitudes and arrogance in his eyes. He was Yeluditian, the senior god envoy of the Temple of the Fallen. This is war. War is not just. The people of the 5 factions alliance regarded Chen Ronghuo as hope, and Yeluditian, who controlled the fear bell, of course, also discovered the power of Chen Ronghuo. It's just that the camps are different, and he regarded Chen Ronghuo as a disaster. So he took advantage of the negligence of the people of the 5 factions alliance, seized the opportunity, condensed the infinite cloud of fear, and grabbed Chen Ronghuo. This time, he grabbed not only Chen Ronghuo, but also Fat Cat and Wu Piaoun. Boom! The big hand pressed down, and before it arrived, it blocked everything around. Yeluditian was a late 9th level cultivator. A strong man of this level, equipped with a divine weapon, was so powerful that Chen Ronghuo could not imagine it. Even if most of Yeluditian's power was restrained by the people of the 5 factions alliance at this time, it was the same. Countless purple lights flashed from the sky. When Yeluditian urged his big hand to rush into the 5 directions mystery formation, the power of the 5 directions mystery formation immediately exploded. Groups of purple lights exploded near the pitch-black big hand, blowing the big hand into pieces. But the pitch-black big hand still reached out resolutely and rushed straight to Chen Ronghuo to grab it. Not good. Chen Ronghuo looked up and saw the pitch-black big hand pressing down from high in the sky, and his face suddenly changed. He took out the 2-world map at the first time. But after taking out the map of the 2 worlds, he found that the connection between the map of the 2 worlds and the land of the gods was blocked by this black hand that pressed down. Endless fear emerged from Chen Ronghuo's heart. This was the first time he felt so scared and so desperate since he came to this world. Hand of Fear, Yeluditian, a senior god envoy of the Temple of the Trap, used a trace of power to activate the Bell of Fear. Chen Ronghuo identified the true face of the Black Hand. But this had no effect on his current situation. Chen Ronghuo put a lot of soul power into the ancient book and began to calculate what method he could use to escape. Suddenly, Chen Ronghuo's eyes flashed. After injecting a lot of soul power into the ancient book, he finally calculated a possible way to escape. Escape. Chen Ronghuo flipped his hand and took out a black talisman. This talisman is called the Escape Talisman, which was one of the rewards Wu Tianchuo gave him after he told him the location of the Shenhe Gate of the Holy Tiger sect. This Escape Talisman is of level 7. After using it, one can escape thousands of miles away in an instant. At the same time, it also has a certain ability to break through space barriers, which is suitable for use here. After taking out the Escape Talisman, Chen Ronghuo immediately injected the remaining soul power into the Escape Talisman, and at the same time grabbed Fat Cat and Wu Piaoun, and disappeared from the spot with a whoosh, appearing a few hundred meters away. This is obviously because the Escape Talisman lost a lot of energy after breaking the space barrier of the pitch black hand, and only took him a few hundred meters away. Boom! After the Hand of Fear controlled by Yeluditian grabbed nothing, it fiercely grabbed a huge trench on the ground. After failing to capture Chen Ronghuo with one strike, Yeluditian in the Bell of Fear showed a slight surprise on his face. He did not expect that Chen Ronghuo would escape even after he personally took action. How slippery! He snorted coldly, and continued to push the power. The big hand that was originally broken by countless purple lights became full again. After the big black hand missed, it suddenly turned over, and the fingers turned upwards, like a mountain rising from the ground, grabbing Chen Ronghuo again. The space was also blocked again. Che Tianxing and others stared at the scene blankly, wanting to help, but they were all powerless. Facing the big black hand created by Yeluditian, even if all of them came together, there was only one way to go. Damn it! Chen Ronghuo looked ugly. Yeluditian's reaction was too fast. It was so fast that he had no time to tear the map of the two worlds apart. As a last resort, he could only take out the Escape Talisman again. This Escape Talisman can be used 5 times in total. After using it once, it can be used 4 more times. Yeluditian. However, just as Chen Ronghuo was about to use the Escape Talisman for the second time, the people of the 5 Sects Alliance in the high-altitude Mystic Pearl finally reacted. With a loud shout from the Holy Tiger, a rich purple light emerged from between heaven and earth, and also turned into a big hand, resisting Yeluditian. Originally, the people of the 5 Sects Alliance could only activate the 5-sided Mystic Pearl to stalemate with Yeluditian. However, as Yeluditian divided a little power to deal with Chen Ronghuo, they also had some power free to rescue Chen Ronghuo. Boom! With a loud bang, the purple hand and the black hand collided with each other. But the two did not break when they collided. Instead, at the moment of collision, the two forces actually merged together to form a huge purple-black field. In the Bell of Fear, Yeluditian raised his lips. The 26 members of the 5 Factions Alliance joined forces to activate the God Enchanting Pearl. Although they could compete with him in terms of power level, and even surpassed him slightly, he, as a late-stage 9th Order cultivator, could definitely crush the 5 Factions Alliance in terms of power control. After the purple-black field was formed, it instantly enveloped Chen Ronghuo, Fat Cat, and Wu Piaoun. It was like a huge purple-black prison. Whoosh! The next moment, this purple-black prison took Chen Ronghuo and others and soared into the sky. When it appeared between the God Enchanting Pearl and the Bell of Fear, the prison rose again, and actually enveloped both the God Enchanting Pearl and the Bell of Fear. Chen Ronghuo held the Escape Talisman and the Two Realms diagram in his hands, but in this purple-black field, neither of them was of any use. Yaluditian, what do you want? The angry voice of the holy tiger came from the god-confusing pearl. What? Yaluditian sneered in the bell of fear, you probably don't know that the gods are making a game. In the game, there is a term called cheating. People who cheat are not allowed to participate in the game. And what I am doing now is to eliminate the cheaters in our game. But since you don't allow it, I will give you a face and not eliminate him for the time being. But in this case, I will restrict him here for a period of time, you won't still care, right? If possible, Yaluditian naturally wanted to kill Chen Ronghuo. But he still had to control the bell of fear at this time. If he insisted on killing Chen Ronghuo by force, if the high-level officials of the Five Factions Alliance were desperate and took this opportunity to fully activate the god-confusing pearl, it is very likely that he and the Bell of Fear would be driven out of here together. He finally got in here. If he was driven out, it would be difficult to come in again. That's why he came up with such a solution. That is, by imprisoning Chen Ronghuo, the top leaders of the Five Factions Alliance compromised. In the god-confusing pearl, the top leaders of the Five Factions Alliance were extremely angry. They had just seen hope, but this hope was extinguished by Yaluditian in an instant. But even if they blamed others, they could only blame themselves for being too weak to protect Chen Ronghuo. Temporarily confine me here? In the purple-black prison, Chen Ronghuo heard the conversation between Zhenggu and Yaluditian, and his eyes lit up slightly. It seems that he still has hope to survive. It is better to have hope than no hope. He looked at the fear bell stained with bright red blood in the distance, and then turned his head to look at the god-confusing pearl behind him. The two were about a kilometer apart. At this time, he, Fat Cat, and Wu Piaoun were in the middle of the two. Fear Bell, low-grade artifact. User, Yaluditian. Note, Yaluditian himself is not compatible with the Fear Bell at the same time, because the material of the Fear Bell itself has a strong isolation force. Yaluditian is in the Fear Bell and cannot release his own power. He can only exert the power of the Fear Bell by forcibly activating the Fear Bell. Chen Ronghuo identified some of the properties of the Fear Bell. After identifying the properties of the Fear Bell, Chen Ronghuo narrowed his eyes, as if he thought of something. After a moment, Chen Ronghuo suddenly stretched out his right hand, and at the same time activated the power of various laws, and hit the Fear Bell in the distance. Boom! His big hand grew bigger and longer. Finally, with a bang, it was imprinted on the Bell of Fear. The Bell of Fear did not move at all. How dare you? In the Bell of Fear, Yaluditian snorted coldly. Then he separated some of his strength and transmitted it to the Bell of Fear. Boom! Suddenly, a powerful force burst out from the Bell of Fear, shattering Chen Ronghuo's entire right palm. Yaluditian was a 9th-level cultivator, but the Bell of Fear was a divine artifact-level secret treasure. In addition, he and the Bell of Fear were not compatible, so he could only use such a small trick to teach Chen Ronghuo a lesson. At the same time, because the people of the Five Factions Alliance were not far away, he did not dare to release more power. I am presumptuous, so what? If you have the guts, kill me. Chen Ronghuo retracted his right hand. After retracting his right hand, after a few breaths, the injuries on his right hand were all healed. After the injury on his right hand healed, he stretched out his left hand with a bang and hit the Fear Bell in the distance. At this moment, he was like a madman who was not afraid of death. The whole person seemed crazy. But in fact, this was because Chen Ronghuo knew that he had to find a way to save himself. Even if it was dangerous, he had to save himself. Otherwise, when would he be trapped here? Especially if the Five Factions Alliance failed in this battle, then he would definitely have no way out. And his way to save himself was to use the ability of his left hand. Thanks to Eastern Dragon for the 100 coin reward, and also thanks to everyone for the monthly ticket recommendation ticket.